So we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. Yeah, hopefully they have the Xbox Series S, because I might be able to buy that.
Not mine, no Xbox.
Yeah, you got PC, therefore that they keep telling me that Xbox owns PC. Is what I've been told.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? Xbox owns PC.
They say they own PC. I'm like, I'm getting them. They were bragging about the flight sim game. The only person I know that's ever talked about that game is me. I'm like posting videos from Obsidian Art and the rest of them on what it can do, what you won't be able to do, what to expect. Nobody's talking about it. And somebody was like, well, Digital Foundry, aka White Zaddy, they said that's a next gen game. And I'm like, well, it's on PC. In order to run it, you got to have something called a 2080. That's like to max it out. That's like the recommended shit they want you to have. A 3900X or something like that, whatever it is, and a 2080. So when you see the videos, it's on that type of platform. It's not on an Xbox. We don't know what it's going to run like on Xbox. So, and they bragged about it. I'm like, that's on PC. Well, Microsoft owns PC. I'm like, oh, well, somebody better tell Linux and Apple that, because they have operating systems on PC, so, all right, that's kind of the stupidity that we're dealing with here. So,
yeah. No one wants an Xbox, man.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. That Mindshare that Sony has, that shit is like fucking. That's just like gold. You just can't get by it. No matter what Microsoft does, like Sony just got that Mindshare, man. They can just drop something, and fucking everybody just forgot everything Microsoft just did. So
I don't believe in Mindshare, only because you can go to the store and make up your own mind.
Yeah.
But I understand what people think it is. So, but
there is Mindshare. It's the long-term effect that people associate with quality. Even if it's like, like for example, Sony TVs, right? For a while, Sony TVs sucked ass, but there was a perception because of the name Sony. They assumed that it was still good. It's just that's what Mindshare really does. Like, because for a while, Sony TVs were terrible. Especially Samsung, yes, they was. That's what I'm talking about. They were pretty bad compared to what you could have gotten. Especially there was a time where Vizio was making better panels than Sony. But it had the name Vizio as compared to, like with you, if you try to tell a person, nah, get a Vizio, they'll look at you like, a Vizio? Get the fuck out of here. Like, they will look at you like, and then you're thinking, but it's a better TV if you look at it from the performance wise. But the name sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
I guess. I don't believe in that. But okay, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But I'm just saying if I want to go buy something, I'll go buy it.
Well, that's, that's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But there's that's
but like, when you go to the grocery store, do you buy all generic items?
Who, me? Well, it depends on what's on my Plus card.
So your card is maxed out. What do you do?
No, the Kroger Plus card never maxes out. It's got
I'm saying, say you got like infinite money to spend. You gonna buy all generics?
Well, no.
But I'm saying people have brands that they recognize that they willing to cash out for. That's not abnormal.
That's what I'm saying. If I want Miracle Whip, I'm going to pay the $4.88 to get it. I'll be mad. I'll cop an attitude, but I'll still buy it. I'll pay no $4 for spread like that. But hey, I guess that's Mindshare because I can't eat regular mayonnaise; it's too bland. So it's like
there you go.
So.
And so what Porter Rock is saying, so somebody could come out with some regular mayonnaise that's fire. But you're not gonna believe it because you already have your. It
ain't Hellman's. It ain't Hellman's. You gotta have that Hellman's.
Hellman's is that's too bland for me.
All right, so, we're about to go. We're about to go live.
Oh, I thought we already were.
No, we're going live right now. Let me just.
Well, I'm excited about the Spider-Man thing.
As y'all should. No one wants an Xbox.
I'm telling you, I don't think that's true. So,
Bro, ain't nobody want no Xbox, man. Who out here clamoring for the pre-order date for the
Nobody is talking.
Stop it. I am. Y'all know I want an Xbox, and y'all do too.
well, you don't have to pre-order it because you'll be able to walk.
You got an Xbox already.
Really?
You got
Shit! I think we're already live.
I'm saying, look at Twitter, man. Everybody's clamoring for PlayStation news. Even the Xbox guys, they're like, yo, what's the release date, man? You know, they ain't looking for no Xbox news as far as release date and price. Some of these people might not even get the Xbox. They don't need to get it. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's got 52 CUs and 12 T-flops. I mean, what are you talking about? You know, velocity.
Look here, man. Plenty of people want the Series X.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like
we're
Forte
already
said,
live.
Like,
I don't know how.
The regular Xbox been selling out. Like the pandemic is really making people turn to this recreation. J-Dub just told me the day before yesterday that gaming is recession proof. Yeah. So people want this Xbox, man.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, like they said, there's less people. There's millions of people without jobs right now, less money going through the economy, and yet gaming is at an all-time high when it comes to buying games and consoles. All these consoles are sold out. All these games are sold out.
Yeah, man. It's the best form of entertainment. It's the number one form of entertainment right now. Between movies, music, gaming is the number one. And you got and I think the advantage is because of it's interactive. That's the thing. Music and movies. I mean, you could say music might be interactive if you're in a band and you have instruments and you could do like karaoke. But as far as gaming's always been interactive, and that's like the number one thing. It's not you just don't sit back and just watch and listen. You actually get to partake. You could alternate outcomes. You know, and depending on the game, you could tailor the story in the direction you want. You know, there's a lot of things that people love about gaming. You know,
facts, and it's the best value. You just
get
so much.
You get so much more. You get so much more entertainment, especially if you deep dive into the multiplayer and stuff like that, or the couch co-op type games. You could be playing those games forever. You know, for the price. All right, so I guess we've been live for a little while. I've been trying to adjust the settings because they didn't save it. But anyway, hey, what's up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? This is your boy Porter Rock 77, your only friend in these YouTube streets. Back at you with another amazing podcast. My panel is back, and of course I got a special guest. But let me kick off with the panel. We got, of course, J-Dub.
Yo, what's good, everybody?
What's good? And then we got...
I already know what it is.
Yep. And we got Jay Breezy, $1,000, G.
Yo, what's good, guys? Man, boy Jay Barry, we out here.
Yeah. My man Jay Barry launched his new channel. What is it? What's Up PlayStation?
Yo, what's up PlayStation, man? Yo, we got 400 subscribers in less than a week, man. So that means that gonna be doing a giveaway this Saturday for episode number 2, man. So definitely come and check it out.
Yeah, so get up in there, support your boy. What's Up PlayStation? It's PlayStation focused, gaming, even those Japanese games nobody ever heard of, but you're still interested in. My man's gonna do it. He's gonna play it. He's gonna play it for you and tell you what you need to buy. You know what I'm saying? That's real important. So
that Fairy Tale is lit, man. Go play that Fairy Tale. If y'all Fairy Tale fans out there, man, go play that.
There you go, man. You know what I'm saying? And then of course we got Craig Harris, the voice of. Man, are we gonna still call you Craig? Because there's a new Craig in town. I heard he's the real deal. So Craig, what are we gonna do?
So he's a new mascot.
Well, I heard he's gonna come look for you if you don't change your name, Craig.
That's fine. I'm buying a T-shirt
for
my birthday.
So what are we gonna call you? You still Craig? Because that might be a fight, dog.
We just gonna call him C. We just gonna call him C, man.
The Xbox ambassador is what I am.
We're gonna call you Harris. We're gonna call you Harris or something. Like I don't know, man. That's a dangerous fight.
I got my white gloves and everything.
Here's the real question. Craig obviously gonna be patched in with ray tracing. Are you gonna be patched in with ray tracing?
I don't know. I don't even understand what this stuff is anymore. How do you bastardize your top game like they did? I'm a Halo fan. I'm even going to be following the TV show.
All right.
I like Halo 5. I mean, people hate Halo 5. I'm like, I like Halo 5. Get out of here. But they're not. It's over. I mean, ever since that thing came out and that game's a meme, that's terrible. That looks like something my niece would do.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
And of course, our special guest.
The only one of the Xbox computer pod that tells the truth. These other people be lying their asses off.
Man, we got him. We got him.
For real Xbox dude.
Okay,
go ahead.
Then we got him. Man, we got him started. He obviously you don't like your name being taken away from you. Craig doesn't like $1 trillion company taking his name. Apparently, he doesn't like that. And of course, we got a special guest. We got him, and I'm glad I was able to get him on. I'm glad. These are the main reasons why I'm glad we were able to get the show running. We got Optimus Code. You know what's going on, brother?
What up, man? How y'all doing? What's going on?
What's going on, brother? Hey, thank you for hitting me up again, for reminding me. I'm glad you're able to come. We're gonna have a special conversation of a question you asked, in particular in Twitter.
Facts.
Okay, so we're gonna have a good time. And of course, all day he might show up, he might not. He's a very busy man doing big things. But hey, for everybody else, thank you for showing up, for supporting the show. If you don't mind, hit the like button and tweet this out. Let's go down through the chat. We got SS9. He says hit the like button. Thank you so much for the support, brother. And then we also got Garuda. Thank you for stopping by. Always been a big supporter of this channel since day one. Spider-Man got grown men in their feelings because they have to buy a PlayStation to find his spider suit. Hey, we're going to talk about that topic. There's a lot of butthurt people. There's people who own a PlayStation or claim they do and are butthurt.
Amen.
Yes.
I don't get it. That doesn't make sense. Like, if you buying two consoles, right? Yeah, it's for that reason. You bought multiple consoles, so you're not impacted by situations like this. All right. My man Optimus Code, man, even he dropping. He like, yo, support. No need to read this. I got you anyway. You can't help but that purple shine. It just stands out. It's just so big up in here. And then of course, a lot of people in the chat. Thank you so much for showing up. That's it. You know, the magenta color. My man's magenta status. You know, that's like the T-Mobile plan. You got the magenta plan. And then of course, Salty is gaming up in here. Thank you so much. But let's kick to it. Let's kick right into the topic. Right. Let's kick it off. Spider-Man. Special character, exclusive to the PlayStation. Not available on Xbox or PC. All right, we'll go down the line. We'll start off with our special guest, right? Because when we have a special guest, they'll get first dibs. Optimus, what you think about that? Shitty move, you know, not pro-consumer, F you, Sony? Or is this something like, hey, this is what you expect from a first party? This is what they should do to cater to the people who will buy that platform? What do you think about this whole thing?
I mean, honestly, I just think it's good business. I don't look at it as good or bad. Either way, it's just good business. Just like how Nintendo things had to happen, and then more and more characters were brought to the Super Smash Brothers. In that same regard, I think that if they had something like Master Chief was available on Xbox or something, nobody would complain. I think it's just regular business.
Good point. Is this decision, did it influence you on what version you're gonna buy?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely switched my pre-order over to PlayStation so I can do Spider-Man. I just did about maybe 40 minutes ago too. Absolutely, you did.
You just can't help it. He's such an impactful character, and you know he's gonna be fun. Oh, he's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, exactly.
In that game. Yo,
I did not know that he was not going to be in all of the versions. I thought he was going to be everywhere.
Oh man, yeah. Sony did some trickery with that one. They got a good character. J-Dub.
How about he's part of the Avengers, so that's what I expected.
All right, J-Dub, what do you think?
Oh man, this is huge. This is huge news. This was already kind of suspected. Because it's Spider-Man, that Spider-Man tends to be more partial to Sony, especially in the video gaming thing. This is that Mindshare, man. This is because, think about it. This game comes out, people are going to be playing it. And a few months after playing this game is when, I think a month and a half after this comes out, the PlayStation 5 is going to be out with Miles Morales. You're going to be playing that. So that just ties into the whole Mindshare of Sony. They're able to just market stuff and cut these deals. These are the deals that sell consoles, that sell you on a game. You got many people around the world changing their pre-orders from one system to another. So this is genius move, man.
Okay.
Hold on, J-Dub. Hey, can the guests just jump in at any time, or do I gotta wait till
go
it's
ahead,
on?
go ahead.
Oh no, just as long as you let them finish their point. But if you want to counter a point, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I agree with you that it definitely will make you switch your pre-order if you already have a PlayStation. But it seemed like you just said that if someone don't have a PlayStation, they will go get a PlayStation just to have Spider-Man in Avengers. Is that what you're saying?
Well, a lot of people did that. They did that this generation with the Spider-Man game. The one that we got a couple of, on the PS4 a couple of years ago. A lot of people didn't own a PlayStation to that point. Now, again, that's to the people that are partial to Spider-Man, which there's a lot of people. I mean, that's one of the most recognizable characters. Coming, they bought this, obviously they got the Spider-Man game, and a lot of those guys, man, let's face it, they want that character, and that's if it's not going to be on this console, they're willing to go and do that. I've seen that before. I've seen
that's a whole game. You say you talk about like one DLC character for an entirely.
Well, see, here's the thing about it, right? If you get you're gonna go and buy this game. And it's on PlayStation. It's also with the smart delivery. So when you pick up your PlayStation 5, you have all the enhancements. It's a cross-buy. You have all the enhancements. It's going to take full advantage and all of that. Plus, while you're there, guess what? Go ahead and pick up your Miles Morales. You see what I'm saying? It's a win-win, my brother. It's win-win. You're not really losing.
I concede, bro.
There's not a lose situation in this. There's not a lose-lose situation.
Well,
because guess what? One thing you're never going to play, you're never going to be able to play that Miles Morales on the Xbox. And as it stands right now, you're never going to be able to play Spider-Man on the Avengers game on the Xbox. So, again, that's that Mindshare, man. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, baby, you come to the PlayStation Nation.
Yeah, I can see where Optimus was coming from. He was probably talking about specifically, is a DLC character really going to change a person's mind between switching a whole console? Because you're talking about a bigger, aspect to gaming besides just one DLC character. But I'll say this. Yeah. If Sony keeps making moves like this where you got a multi-plat, right? And Sony keeps introducing more content for the same amount of dollars to pay out that multi-plat. Like, for example, both games cost $60, but people keep seeing you just get more with the PlayStation version, either more maps, more characters, more items. They just provide more at no extra cost. People might be like, you know what, I'm going to rock with PlayStation because they have this, they're showing to their fan base who plays PlayStation that they will do more for the same amount of money as compared to Xbox, which ain't really doing anything for their versions of the game other than, the perceived best version of console version, right? PlayStation's doing more. Like, hey, get this character. Hey, get these maps first. Hey, get these items first that are exclusive. They just seem like you're getting more bang for your buck per game as compared to what Microsoft's doing, who may not even be doing much at all, other than just keep reiterating, well, it's the best version on console, and that's about it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. If Sony keeps pushing that narrative, people could be like, you know what? I'd rather buy the PlayStation version because at least I get more stuff without any extra money.
It could be some stuff announced here coming up pretty soon with Cyberpunk and maybe a couple of other little titles.
Yeah,
we just have to wait.
Yeah, you just have to see. You just have to see Microsoft's strategy on what they trying to do.
Microsoft
That's what it comes down
to.
They don't have no
content. So, Microsoft has exclusive content for the Avengers. They just haven't announced it yet because Crystal Dynamics said. Yeah, Crystal Dynamics said last year that each console they would be able to add characters as the game goes along. That's it. Nobody this is a Crystal Dynamics thing. Microsoft allegedly has Daredevil. They just haven't announced it.
No.
So,
Craig.
Let
me tell you something about life. I gotta put y'all. You guys are my brothers. I gotta put y'all on game here. Microsoft doesn't have the leverage like PlayStation or Sony to even have something like that for a Marvel character to be exclusive on their platform. I'm sorry. They don't. There's a reason why Spider-Man is exclusive on PlayStation. That's due to the deal with Marvel and Sony. It also ties into the video games aspect. But with this Avengers game, people need to understand, like, many of us in here, we have played Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man PS4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first play Marvel Spider-Man on PS4 and you're swinging through New York City, you see that Avengers building. Yeah. Peter Parker says something very key to himself as you swing past that building. He said, "Yo, the Avengers is over there, not here in New York. They're over there doing some mission over in the West Coast."
Oh yeah, the West Coast. Yeah, he said. Yeah, they're out on the West Coast.
Exactly. What happens when
so the game is based in the West Coast.
Yeah, but they're not even crossing over.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you, they are crossing over.
Now here's my thing.
They said they weren't.
Now
they already hinted to them being on the West Coast. You're starting at the Golden Gate
Well,
Bridge.
okay, but that's not. Again, that's a reach. I mean, Crystal Evans said this is their version of it. So, and again, I mean, to me, it's funny. I didn't know. I was at work today. But when I saw some stuff, I'm like, well, it makes sense that it's exclusive because it is a Sony intellectual property. But I didn't realize how mad people were until I got home. I'm like, man, these guys are just going effing nuts.
Basically, what I'm saying that the reason why we obviously know the reasons why it's exclusive to PlayStation, but I'm just saying that I think they're tying in. They're in the same universe. Maybe the Avengers side of things is not exclusive, but the Spider-Man side of things is exclusive. And you have Marvel Spider-Man where Peter Parker, he's missing. Right? He's doing something where in the article they said that Peter Parker is fine. He's just doing away on some mission or something like that. Yeah. I think that's where it ties over to the Marvel Avengers game. Okay. And that's why we're getting the exclusive story content with Marvel's Avengers for PlayStation. But at the end of the day, I'm surprised that people are even surprised that this is going to happen here because you could have seen this from miles away that if they was going to surprise
me. This surprised me. I didn't think they would add him this early. But, I mean, I know they were supposed to coincide with the movie, the Black Widow movie that's been delayed. I mean, there's some co-marketing here. It just did surprise me that they opened it up like this. I mean, at this point, Sony does not care.
But what Microsoft is doing. You know why it's not surprising? Just look at it from the characters that they already have in there. You got Kamala Khan in there, Miss Marvel. That's a new Avenger. Yeah, Spider-Man is not an original Avenger; he's a new Avenger. So it just makes kind of sense. Like, oh, you already have here like a new Avenger listed in an Avengers game, so you can tell where you and you're already over here in the West Coast. That's where the new Avengers kind of started off.
Well, I think they're setting up a possible West Coast Avengers style game.
That's what that's what I thought.
Miss Marvel.
I thought they were referencing the West Coast. If you're into comics, there's the West Coast Avengers. So I thought because obviously the Avengers wasn't more. But now that you mentioned it, I can see the tie-in though.
You can't start the West Coast Avengers without establishing the Avengers. New Avengers.
Yeah.
All right, but what Sony character is already in San Francisco? They just did a movie about it. Now the movie I thought was trash.
Well, that's not that. I mean, you're talking about Venom, but that's different though.
There's a chance. There is a chance that
they totally went off story with that.
They were going to put in the game first.
Yeah, they went off story with that one.
In first, because there is a natural tie-in to San Francisco
so,
from the movie.
If I remember from Insomniac, a lot of people were. I don't want to use the word harassing, because that's maybe a negative, but a lot of people were asking Insomniac about the Venom suit. Because Insomniac was pushing all these free Venom suits for DLC. And so many people, and I think the Venom suit was like the number one most requested out of all of them. So Insomniac responded saying that they're not doing a Venom suit because Venom is an iconic character, and that's a huge story arc for the Spider-Man. So that has to be introduced separately. So they pretty much let us know that Venom's going to be part of the Spider-Man series for PS4. That's why we're not getting. That's why we're not getting the Venom suit, because that's going to be specific to whichever version of. It could be the next game. It could introduce, but they're not gonna treat Venom like a side character. So that from the interview, it sounded like Venom's gonna be a very important character in the Spider-Man PlayStation universe, like huge. So that's why they didn't make the Black Venom suit.
Yeah.
So
now, I mean, Ryan thought they would tie in the Black. I'm sorry. I think they would. I thought they were going to tie in the San Francisco loop with the Venom movie for the Avengers, and they get attacked by Taskmaster, who's the main villain in the Black Widow movie.
Well, Taskmaster,
That's what they were doing. That's what I thought they were doing.
In fact,
already introduced Taskmaster.
yeah, he's already in Avengers, isn't he?
He's already
And then he's also Spider-Man too. He's already in there
He was
as a side
Spider-Man
character
as well, but he was trash.
I don't think they're gonna tie
in.
in. I don't think they're gonna tie in Spider-Man in any way to the Black Widow movie, because I don't think the Black Widow movie is gonna be that big. To be honest, she just doesn't resonate. I don't think it's gonna be as big as like Wonder Woman or something. I don't think so. It just doesn't give that vibe.
What up?
What's up, all day? What's going on?
What's up, man?
Yo,
hey, correct me if I'm motherfucking wrong, but hey, seeing Black Widow like traversing the city with a fucking stick with a string on it was pretty fucking weird, bro.
Like Daredevil shit, right? Like Daredevil?
Yeah, like what? Like she had an extendable cane and shit.
Like Batman? Like she trying to be Batman or something?
Like she look ridiculous.
She trying to fight for the Batman role or something? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's bad. It just you know what makes it hard about Black Widow is she's dead.
What's up?
Like, the timing's wrong. Like, she should have had this movie before she died.
Spoiler alert, folks.
Ain't no spoiler alert. She's dead. Everybody saw Endgame.
Some people may not have known.
Everybody saw Endgame. All right, it's the #1 movie of all time in sales. Beat out Avatar. Listen. If you don't know Black Widow's dead, then you're not interested in Marvel movies anyway. So,
well, that's true.
Hey, but real shit,
she's dead.
As I'm watching the, you guys watch the War Room footage?
I have not seen it.
No.
Yeah, I love it. It looked good, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like hey, Jaboy, put down your mom, bro. I swear to God, when you watching it, right? You like, damn, Spider-Man needs to be in this game, like instantly.
100. Yo, listen,
Like,
The thing is, when this game got introduced, I was like, Spider-Man's definitely going to be in it because, like, once I saw Kamala Khan, I was like, yo, there's no way they're not going to introduce Spider-Man. You're going to introduce people like Daredevil. You're going to introduce all those type of characters because you're going to have War Machine in there too. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the new Avengers. Obviously, after New Avengers get formulated, they're probably going to form like West Coast Avengers and have their different parts. But it was right on the wall because there's no way you're going to introduce that specific character and then not trickle down to other. You know what I mean? So I was just like, it's bound to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Corner Rock, I want y'all to answer the question that you asked me about this Spider-Man thing.
Okay, hold on. Let me pay some bills, and then we'll move on. So, thanks for the chat. Glorious Ward, thank you for the super chat. He says, thank you, PlayStation, for Spider-Man. Of course, you know. And you had to know they had to take advantage. You know, Sony's not playing. So, thank you so much for that super chat. All right, go ahead. Optimus. What question do you have?
You asked me that I think it was a trash move by Sony. What do y'all think?
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
I don't. It is Sony. Again, it's not anti-consumer either because as long as you can go to the store and buy a PlayStation, it's not anti-consumer. It's not. I mean, you don't have. I mean, I could see if they were saying the only way you can buy a PlayStation is you have to buy a bicycle. That's anti-consumer because they're tying something to something else. But it's like, look, I can go to the store and buy 10 PlayStations. There's nothing stopping you, the consumer, from doing it. Therefore, it's not anti-consumer. But no, this is a strong move. I mean, I know people were talking about it day before yesterday, and I'm like, guys, they haven't announced this. You know, Crystal Dynamics had announced it. Let's stop speculating. But yeah, to their credit, they're just like, yeah, this is coming, and we don't give a damn. You know,
when has it become anti-consumer to give incentive for consumers to buy your platform?
No, it's not. It's not.
I mean,
it's not. It's like a bogus.
Is it anti-consumer for the gas station to have a sale where the other one across the street doesn't have a sale?
It's not. I heard. Yeah. I heard my life.
People throwing out that word like it's chips, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
Hey, you know what? Most of the niggas that's complaining got PlayStations.
That's what I found weird.
What's pissing me off is the industry that's doing it. Yeah, you're gonna have Jimmy 2 Cents and all those people that's gonna complain about it that's on Xbox. But the people that write the blogs for the gaming industry, so I'm seeing that. I'm like, bro, so you don't want PlayStation to have any incentive for their consumers, their customers, the people that buy into their platform, or people looking into buying a PlayStation. They want as much people as possible to come in. The Xbox have Gamepass to attract their consumers, right? That's anti-consumer because it's not on PlayStation.
Good point. What about this though? What about Sony puts the industry puts that in the air, right? Everybody smells it. Sony starts getting a whiff of it. Then they start, hey, maybe this is anti-consumer. What if they start flipping it? After a while, you won't start seeing the shit no more. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, all that kumbaya shit, they see that it brings the masses, right? Yeah. So, I don't know, man. The industry is different now. Industry's different now.
I think the PlayStation Nation will hold the line only because you gotta look at it.
I'm just saying.
You gotta look at it this way. This is how I see it. Spider-Man was never announced for all platforms anyway. So everybody's complaining about something they were never going to get, right? Sony most likely did a deal with Avengers, Marvel, all this stuff to be like, hey, our version of the game, for those who buy PlayStation, we want Spider-Man included. So if you buy the Xbox version, you would never get in that guy anyway. You would never get in him. Right? This was a deal for PlayStation.
Always do.
Yeah, they take care of their fan base.
Well, what happened with Mortal Kombat MK9? Who was the guest character on that?
It was Kratos, right?
Right. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's incentive to buy it over there. Yeah. Like, same shit we've been doing. They just thinking about this.
They've been doing it. They've been doing with the Batman game since PS3 too. You always had exclusive content on the PlayStation platform. For the you know what I mean? I don't know why people are complaining now. Like,
the real complaint. People on Xbox or PC, well, not so much PC because there's really no advocate on that platform. But for at least Xbox, the real complaint they should be doing is, why isn't Microsoft doing something for you guys? If you primarily play on Xbox, how come they're not going after X-Men?
Wait, they get the Hulk.
You know what I'm saying? Not even. You know what I'm saying? How come they don't get like? And I said this, and you guys heard me say this a million times. Why not go after X-Men for Xbox? Like, you can't make it any easier.
It's a no-brainer.
Like, it's a no-brainer. X-Men for Xbox. Have Wolverine as a playable character for your audience.
Slash a big green X through the trailer.
No shit. Yeah, you got people buying your console. Give them something. They bought your console. Give them something.
No, they're not. They're not buying the
console. That should be. Yeah. But for the 10 people that do buy it, give those 10 people something.
Subscribe to Gamepass and you get to play as the X-Men. That's what they gonna do, some shit like that.
Well, I understand the media too. If you have an office and it has, let's say you have 18 people, or let's say you have 9 people covering gaming, and it is so lopsided and it is so one-sided at this point that the people who are covering Xbox, you're going to pretty much call them in the office and say, y'all got to go. Because there's nothing to really talk about. I looked at the IGN article and schemed it, and again, I disagree with it, but I respectfully disagree with it. But that's what's going on with the media at this point. The media, if you haven't noticed, especially in the last 3 weeks, they're really starting to shield for Microsoft because they're trying to keep them relevant. And Microsoft is Sony is pulling further and further away from them. Sony may announce tomorrow they're going to 122 million consoles tomorrow or Wednesday. They're going to make some kind of major announcement. So,
what IGN article are you talking about, Chris?
There was an IGN article. I'll see if I can put it in the chat.
I mean, what was it about?
It was about how it's the Spider-Man character is great for PlayStation fans, but not great for gamers. So I get it. The guy was trying to take a balanced approach, but they're incentivizing you buying the console version of this game on that platform. That's it. That's all they're doing, which makes it pro-consumer. Okay, that makes it pro-consumer. So, and but yeah, I get it to a certain extent. These guys have been mad ever since. It didn't matter that Sean Layton said that Spider-Man on PS4 was going to be exclusive. They thought this game was going to come to Xbox because secretly they thought because Xbox had the more powerful console that everybody would develop games for Xbox. It didn't happen. It didn't happen for them. So, and they're mad. I mean, they're furious. I've seen some tweets. I'm like, Jesus. I mean, the hell's going on out here? Grown ass men acting like moist ass maggots online, you know. So it's just it is what it is.
Well, I think Optimus Code could speak on this when it comes to from a developer, because you say you did game development, and did you ever work for a publisher?
Absolutely. We work. Our game was published by Bandai.
Okay,
Namco.
so as far as a publisher's perspective, which is more important, working on the most powerful hardware or working on the hardware that sells most of their games, even if it's weaker?
The money is always going to win. They don't care about hardware. They only care about money.
Exactly. You know,
If I don't know nothing about business, bro, I know this. Money has no cap when it comes to business, bro. They always want to increase profit.
exactly.
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like certain things, like the best version of games or the most powerful platform or the platform that has the best tools. If it doesn't equal the most money, then the publishers aren't gonna co-sign that, because at the end of the day, it's their own bottom line. You know, like and when I try to tell people, EA, Ubisoft, Capcom, they're not selling you consoles. They don't sell consoles, so they don't really care that much about making sure Xbox sells or PlayStation sells. You know, of course they're gonna do what they do as far as their game. Oh, our game is gonna look great. Our game is gonna have this. Our game has that. But at the end of the day, if that particular console don't sell, they're going to take their business on the one that does sell and sells their games the most, because that's what they ultimately care about. They ultimately care about how their game sells. That's all they care about. If their game does not sell on your platform, they don't give a goddamn what architecture you have. Their game is not selling.
Only that. No, man, Lord, this is a true story. This is a true story. So there was this dev team, and they made this game. It was a really niche market at first, just like not really that big. They made this game, and back in these days, selling 1 million copies of a game was like this platinum gold achievement. Yeah. And they were actually able to sell 10 million copies of this niche game and made it mainstream. And the team was celebrating. I was there with them. The team was I didn't make the game. I just knew people. And so I was there with them. They were celebrating the success of the game, and they were thinking about making the next part 2. And they were like, man, if we can get the same success, sell the same 10 million copies, like, you know, this will be a major win for us again. And they were looking at like the play mechanics and all the stuff that the fans loved about the first one. And the suit came in. The suit is the person that represented the publisher. The publisher's person came in, and they looked at that 10 million sales that everybody was celebrating. And the first thing he asked everybody, I was there, I heard him say it. He was like, how come that 10 million wasn't 20 million? And the team was like, man, it was a miracle to get 10 million. He didn't care. He was like, it needs to be higher. And he said, you need to make this game more accessible to more people. And the dev team was like, but then we will annoy and piss off the fans.
You might lose the 10 million.
Yeah. Right. But he didn't care. He's like, make it appealing to more people. So they don't care about none of the stuff that we care about. They don't care about what the dev teams care about. They don't care about what the fans care about. If they can trade 20 million casuals for 10 million hardcore, they do it in a heartbeat. Yeah. So you're right. They only care about the money.
Yeah. It's crazy, for sure. Yeah, Garuda Legends, thank you for the super chat. He says, so many characters from Marvel, Sony can try to grab Deadpool, the Punisher, Doom, Thanos, the Hulk, Silver Surfer, etc. MS, stop begging and get a Marvel hero. Get out of Sony's pocket. These dudes are ruthless.
Yeah, but you also got to get an Avenger.
Yeah, so I think the Avengers characters will be excluded. But there's like X-Men, Fantastic Four. Yeah, those guys are still available.
Microsoft Vision available, right?
Who?
Vision.
I don't know.
I don't know. Would he fall on the X-Men?
No, he's an Avenger.
He's an Avenger. Yeah, I mean Avengers. That's what I meant. Would he? Because that's the thing. Because Square Enix went with the Avengers deal, so we don't know how many characters that would be included in that deal. Because they took the Avengers universe.
Xbox is gonna get Hank Pym 2 days early.
Oh shit!
Boom.
They're gonna get Spider Pig.
You guys are, looking forward to Xbox getting an exclusive character. They're not.
I don't think so.
I'm trying to tell you, how they're their platform is they're not positioned that way. It's just they're going to be pushing Game Pass, man. Hopefully one day Avengers is going to go to Game Pass and you guys are going to be excited.
Oh shit!
But he still won't have Spider-Man. With the game.
Man, I know Optimus, right?
Great game for Game Pass.
I know
so it would keep.
I know Optimus is salivating at that Game Pass. I bet you he can't wait to bring that up. Right? The more J Barry brings up Game Pass, the more he's like, "Oh my God, let's get to the main event."
So me and Optimus, we went at it a little bit, man. We went,
My man Garuda also said Microsoft can grab. I think that was a correct statement, but great point on there. So here's the thing. I think we all hit it in the bed. I mean, I think the real thing people need to focus on is don't. Sony is doing their stuff to appease the PlayStation fan base. That's really what they are, right? And to get people on their ecosystem, and that works. What people really need to focus on is to push Microsoft to make these same moves, because that's what brings competition. Let them fight for Marvel IP. Let them fight for X-Men. Bring the X-Men universe to Xbox, right? Bring something unique to Identity, right? Try to do something to really compete against PlayStation vice Kumbaya. Kumbaya is not a competitive move, all right? Apple did not try to be Kumbaya with Samsung, and Samsung did not try to be Kumbaya with Apple. You need competition. You have to be better than the other people, and that ultimately reciprocates to us. We get the better products and the better games and the better content. And I think that's what people... So, in other words, stop trying to blow out Sony's candle. Tell Microsoft to make their candle burn brighter. And I think that's the main thing. We all benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
All right. So, next topic. Grounded. All right. So Grounded, everybody's talking about, oh my God, it's number 1 on Steam. This is a success. This is gonna make Sony push even further for day 1 on PC. Let's really deep dive into that. Let's get over.
Literally do a deep dive.
Yeah, let's do a deep dive on that.
Inside of a fucking tin can.
Yeah.
Come on,
So number 1, when Benji Sells, he's the one that first reported. Benji Sells, shout out to Benji Sells. He first reported that it was number 1 on Steam, and he showed a picture. It was number 1 on Steam, and everybody focused number 1. Of course, me, I kind of look at the whole picture. So when I saw number 2, it was Destroy All Humans. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. How is Destroy All Humans number 2 on the list? And I'm thinking,
right.
How much sales do you need to beat Destroy All Humans? It's kind of like it's kind of like saying your basketball team is the best. I'm like, yeah, who you beat? Oh, we beat the Knicks. I'm like, wait a minute. You really claiming your team is that good because you beat the Knicks? Like, that's not how it works. So I'm thinking, all right, we're going to see how big this Grounded game is, right? So I go to Microsoft.com. They have a site where they show the most played games on Xbox Live, right? The top 50 games that's most played on Xbox Live. And Grounded is nowhere near on the list. It's not among the top 50. But you know what's number 49 on the list? Farming Simulator.
What is
Farming Simulator?
Farming? Cool. Does it teach you how to farm?
What I'm saying is, if Farming Simulator is being played more than Grounded, is this game really successful? Like, am I seeing what everybody else is seeing? Like, is Sony now all of a sudden, because of Grounded, going to be like, put all our games they want on PC because Grounded outsold Destroy All Humans? Like, we'll start with
a lot of big.
Let's start with Optimus. Let's start with Optimus Code, since he's the guest. What do you think? I'm pretty sure you saw on Twitter the success of Steam.
I saw you. Yeah.
But now that I provided this info, now that I provided this info to you, what do you think? Again, Grounded outsold Destroy All Humans, and is not even being played on Xbox. It's not even in the top 50. But Farming Simulator is. What do you think about that? How successful is Grounded really?
Well, it depends on how you asking the question. If it is successful on Steam and the PC community is playing it, but the Xbox community is not, would you call that successful or unsuccessful?
Unsuccessful. Highly unsuccessful.
Then if that's the way you gauge success, then it would be unsuccessful. Yeah, but there is a community of gamers that are on Steam that apparently really like the game.
I'm gonna tell you this why. Right? So the people, like yesterday, I was on Zaya's podcast, right? And all the people capping for the game, saying, "Oh, it's successful! It's on number 1 on Steam," right? But here's the thing: none of them were PC gamers. So how is this game successful to a console-only gamer that supports Xbox?
I got no response to that. I'm just saying the numbers are what they are, right? if you define success as it's successful to the PC community, then fine. If you don't, then it's not. But like, this is a receipt-based industry. There's no way to lie or to spin stuff. Yes. So clearly, the Xbox community on console hasn't gravitated towards it, but a flock of players have on PC, or at least for a short time they did. I haven't actually checked today to see what the standings are, but if you are going to invalidate that PC crowd where they don't count, then no, on the console itself, it hasn't been very successful.
Yeah. So overall, like, even though, yes, Microsoft took the strategy to support 2 platforms, right? Which, okay, I got it. Yep. Day and date, Game Pass, they're really trying to make all ecosystems equal. But technically, it's not equal. And the reason why is when you got a gamer buy an Xbox, they're buying a proprietary console directly made by that company. So don't Microsoft think they owe a little bit something more to that particular consumer as compared to the PC consumer, who technically is not even buying their third-party games through them. They're buying it through Steam. While the Xbox-centric gamer who buys the console, everything is bought through Microsoft. So Microsoft benefits through everything through that consumer. Don't you think Microsoft owes just a little bit more to the console gamer than they do the PC gamer?
Do I think so? I absolutely think so. And so, I'm not one that's hesitant to complain when I feel an injustice is happening where I'm spending my money.
Yes.
So, I mean, the question, the way you phrase it, I absolutely think that Microsoft, if they want to keep their customers and if they want to earn our business, that they have a responsibility to give us a little bit more and to have us demonstrate to us why the platform is worth our investment. Mm-hmm. But there are some people I've interacted with, and they told me that they believe in the sunk cost fallacy, and they think that they've already invested so much in Xbox that they have to keep staying there, and so they don't really feel that their business has to be earned, that they're going to support the platform no matter what.
That's weird.
I'm not one of
That's
those
weird.
people.
That's weird.
So yeah, I think they owe their customers more, but I do think they are trying to give their customers more too, and so that'll be the only difference. I do think that message has reached home loud and clear, and that they are making moves to try to increase that experience for us.
Okay, for the console gamer.
Yes.
But when they make when they make moves like they put Gears Tactics first on PC, Flight Simulator first on PC. It's not a joke. I mean, yeah, it's funny, but they really did it. Gears Tactics, Flight Simulator. What else went first on PC? I think it was just those 2.
Age of Empires.
And Age of Empires. Like I know some. Yeah, but you could say certain games were console games and they're day one on PC.
They're all PC games. That's why P-Rock. Listen, real talk. I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody like praising these success for these games, but I'm sorry. It's a scary time to be an Xbox fan because I don't know how you're praising these games because these games are utter, incomplete dog shit. Okay, you out here praising games that is not complete, where the devs is telling you that they want the community to finish the story, but you want to praise that the game is #1 on Steam. Nah, man, that stuff shouldn't be praised, man. It shouldn't be praised because those are the type of games that we don't want this industry going into. You can't be praising these incomplete, hot garbage mess games. Now people's praising Sea of Thieves, but guess what? Sea of Thieves been on the platform for 3 years. You know what I mean? They're praising Sea of Thieves now. You wasn't praising Sea of Thieves when it first came out because guess what? It was dog shit. Okay, and now you want to praise games like Grounded. We gotta wait 3 more years for it to be complete, just like Sea of Thieves. We need to stop this bullshit, man. It's a scary time.
Hold.
Go ahead, Optimus. Go ahead.
First, number 1, Grounded is in game preview, and the messaging is very clear. This game is not completed; it's in preview. And Steam, like every platform, has preview where you can buy a Founders Pack. You can buy stuff early for game preview to help finish the game. This is not abnormal in any sense. Second,
it's regular for Xbox though.
Look, Sea of Thieves was complete when it was done. What are you talking about? Every MMO on the planet adds content over time. Every single one. World of Warcraft today is not what it was on day one. every single MMO adds content over time. Sea of Thieves was a complete game when it was released. They have more content now, sure, but so does every other MMO. What do you?
It didn't even have a Kraken.
Wait. Did you play Sea of Thieves at launch and beta?
What did you say?
Did you play it at launch at beta and launch?
Yes, I grinded to level 35 in every faction on launch.
There were 3 missions.
What were you doing, sir?
Man, what you thought was sailing the high seas?
My man was doing arr.
You had 3 missions in Sea of 3 main missions that you can do in Sea of Thieves. We got to stop this. The thing is, what I'm saying is that people are so quick to be praising these games, but these games they're garbage, man. They're garbage. Like, I don't want games.
You have a right to that opinion, but to say that you have a right to the opinion that this game is trash and it doesn't appeal to you. But the idea that game previews should go away because you don't like it is ludicrous.
No, I'm not saying that game previews should go away or even games as a service. But when I look at Xbox, that's what I'm seeing. The games that they're pushing. I'm seeing everything they're releasing is this game preview. Oh, don't bash it because we're in beta. You have a release date, but you're praising game preview sales. If you're gonna put this game,
who said don't bash it? Where is this coming from? This is new evidence. What do you mean?
These are even reviewers. Every Xbox game that launches, like your review in progress.
Okay.
But you have a release date for the game. No, the game is not finished. It's in preview. You know what I mean? We got and we're praising these games like, this is great for the community. See if these, you know what I mean? Grounded is great. It's great. The devs is out here giving you Death Diary, talking about we're not gonna finish, we're not gonna complete the story.
Hold on. Now you're going back. So you saying that when I buy games early in preview on Steam, that this is bad for the industry?
No, I'm not saying. Like I said, I think game previews have their place, but I'm saying what Microsoft is pushing. That's mainly what they're pushing is these.
They only have one game in preview. What do you mean the games that they're pushing? There's one game.
Sea of Thieves was in preview when it first came out. What you call it?
It was a beta. It wasn't in preview. They released it the full retail version. It was in beta, sure, but
look at State of Decay when that first came. I'm looking at these games when they first came.
It was pretty bad when it came out. They definitely needed day one.
Pretty bad.
It was a AAA, remember?
Oh boy. Let me get.
They lied to us, man.
Needed a lot of help.
Bro, I tried to play Grounded. I was trying to stream it, and I was just like, I'm playing this joint. I'm just like, nah, man, I can't support this, man.
Didn't the story could be beat in 30 minutes?
It probably
I think the Red Dragon said he beat the story in 30 minutes.
Did he?
Yeah, he beat the story in 30 minutes.
It can be like an hour and a half. So I don't know about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He
put on Twitter.
My son plays it a lot. But you know what? A lot of popular streamers like Corey Kenshin, all these dudes that have millions of subscribers are trying the game, and so the word gets out there. Just because they're playing it doesn't mean they're saying it's good. They're just playing it. Yeah. It gets attraction. People, maybe go.
I can see a lot of kids being into this game.
Yeah,
I can see that.
All day. A lot of people is praising Grounded and what it's doing and stuff. Cool, but they also why they praise it. But I'm saying they praising it, but they also bashing like games like Ghost of Tsushima. But Ghost of Tsushima, when you finish it, it's one and done. Yeah. But I'm playing hundreds of hours and you're praising this game, waiting for it to get good or get content 3 years down the line. Come on, man.
Right.
My ultimate point.
Man, Sea of Thieves had content well before.
Not enough, though. That's the problem, and it wasn't enough. At launch, it wasn't enough. Nigga, you had a monster in the game that was half done. He was half cooked.
The Kraken. all I had was the tentacles sticking out. Somebody jumped in the water and there was nothing there. You know what they told him? What business you have swimming in the water? He said what business you have jumping in the water looking for the body? I was dying.
They said too when they found that out. They said, they'll patch it in later because that's the norm for Xbox. Like, we'll finish that. It's in Game Pass.
Nobody said that.
Oh yes, they did. They said I clearly heard on a podcast that the game will evolve, and therefore the Kraken will evolve with it. I swear to God, I'm not lying to you. I'll tell you after the show's over who said that. I will tell you specifically. I will tell you specifically who said that.
It's in Game Pass. We'll finish that shit later.
I will tell you that the game will evolve.
Sea of Thieves was conceived, and I had bought the pre-order for it before Game Pass was even announced. Y'all need to stop this.
I'm telling you, watch.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I first seen Sea of Thieves back in the day, I was like, man, this game looked kind of interesting. Played it, shit was trash. So
Let me pay some bills.
Hey, but if people like it, hey, more power to them, bro.
Let me pay some bills. Sylvia Lehman, thank you so much for the super chat. No comment, but I truly appreciate the support. Andrew Wilkins, Optimus Code, why you tell people you had inside info that the Xbox show was going to be good? You knew the show was going to be trash like all the rest.
I had inside info, and I still do have inside info. It's just some stuff I can't really say, but Microsoft changed the show. I think that's common knowledge. I think that's public knowledge at this point. Microsoft changed the show to try to have something for August, and from what I heard, some people were not happy about it, but they don't get to make the decision.
So this is my question. That's a good comment. Yeah. That's a good comment, Optimus. So here's my question. Do you think Microsoft should have changed the show?
Do I personally think so?
Yeah.
No, because from what I was told, I mean, things were looking good. There was some really nice stuff there, more gameplay type stuff. And I think that, I mean, at the end of the day, Microsoft is not in the same position of strength that Sony is. And so Microsoft needs to do more to win the minds of the gamers now, and like waiting for later and holding a piece of this and a piece of that so that they can have some answer. In my opinion, I'm not no business analyst, but in my opinion, I would have been more excited for that original show that they had planned to get people hyped instead of what they did. Absolutely. I think it was a mistake.
Yeah, I think right now, Microsoft should realize they're not in a position to try to go toe-to-toe with Sony or PlayStation. Xbox not in a position to go toe-to-toe with PlayStation. What they have to do is realize that their branding has been diminished compared to when they were at the 360 era. You know, their branding has went downhill, and they just need to make the moves in their own right to bring the branding back up. Don't worry about what Sony does. Don't worry about what Sony does, because Sony's already ahead.
I agree.
They already have the hell. Sony just puts the word PS5, and that gets like 3 million retweets. You're not gonna beat that, no matter what you do. All you could do right now is just focus on yourself, bring the branding based on the metrics you can, and try to give the best showings every time you show something. Because I think that
I think they have the strength to do that. If I agree with you, and I think they have.
Because that showing hurt them, in my opinion. In my opinion, that show hurt them more than it helped. You understand what I'm saying? In my opinion, like if you look at it at a very basic level of okay, what games I could play, the show was good. Like I even mentioned in one of my videos, just from the perspective of me already choosing PC, right? And not looking at it as competition between Sony, just on what I can play on PC when I have my gaming PC. The show was decent. I like Avowed. I like some of the titles they have. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Fable. I'm cool with some of the games they showed that I would play on PC. I'm cool with that. And with Halo Infinite, if it looks, eventually, if they actually fix it, I'll play it on PC. And, and if it's a good game, I'll stay playing it, right? That's just for me looking at it from, hey, I'm just buying games. Did they show games I would buy or play? Yes, they did. But from a perspective of being better than PlayStation, competing with PlayStation, that show was trash. If there were, in my opinion, if there was anybody on the fence line, they made their decision. They're like, you know what? I'm done because I'm not waiting no more. I'm going to get a PlayStation, and then I'll just wait 2-3 years later to see how Xbox looks 2-3 years later from now. And until then, I'm either going to play PlayStation or even not even technically PlayStation. Some people will be like, you know what? Just some people will be like, fuck it, I'm going PC. I'm done with this. Enough is enough. I'll just play it on PC because there's no loss going with PC because you don't lose anything by choosing PC over Xbox. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you do. You lose a lot. Stop.
Like this. What? Like what do you lose? Why in terms of gaming content that you lose? If anything, you gain more gaming content.
In terms of gaming content? Oh, yeah, but I mean, just as far like a PC is very different from a console, and the PC experience is very different from the console experience.
You could say maybe in the terms of
performance-wise.
Performance-wise, PC's better. But you could say probably you have to do a bit more work than normal. I would agree to that.
Console wins in convenience, simplicity, and parity.
Yeah.
You lose all of those when you go to PC.
Okay, well, convenience, yes, you lose it, but you trade convenience with better performance. Like, you don't see PC gamers be like, is this game 60? They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't worry about that. You never see a PC gamer, I better get my 60 this gen. None of them say that. None of them. None of them. Am I right, though? I'm saying, am I right, though? PC gamers don't have those conversations.
How hard is it to hook up a controller to a computer? I don't get it. Like,
it could be hard.
Like it's rocket science.
It could be hard.
On a big screen TV, you could do it.
You know?
How different is it?
Well,
You wouldn't even know.
So convenience is what happens before you turn the machine on, right? So like, how did it get there? How did it get put together in the first place? There is a non-trivial amount of effort that has to go into the hardware before you can even power it on.
Yeah.
And it takes special knowledge. So that's the convenience, as opposed to just going to a store saying, here's my $400, give me this thing, and the whole thing is done.
Yeah.
So the convenience is what happens before you turn it on. Simplicity is what happens after you power it on. So now you got to deal with Windows, Steam, install, game updates, driver updates, whatever. That process is a lot more streamlined, but it is nowhere near as simple as a console.
True.
If something breaks, you have to troubleshoot it. You have to figure out, okay, my game was running fine. I've lost 40 frames. What happened? What did I install? What can I roll back? Like, all of that is up to you.
Yeah.
So, and then if you got antivirus software, if you installed a mod that's buggy, there's stuff and the simplicity is what happens after you turn it on. Either way, it's going to be less simple than a console and less convenient than a console.
True.
And then parity, obviously, is like on a console, everybody's the same. So you really don't have to worry about this person has an advantage over you because they invested. Yeah, whatever. So those things you lose, you do get something in exchange for it, right? Like for some people, it's a more than fair trade because what they get in return more than makes up for what they give up. But for some people, it doesn't. So it's not just this notion of, well, I can just go from console to PC and things stay the same, because it's not. And especially in multiplayer, you got to make sure you got anti-cheat stuff and all of this stuff. It's just a different world.
Now, can I ask you something with parity? Isn't that being diminished little by little now that we're getting more and more cross-play between platforms, which includes PC? Would you say that's going away bit by bit?
I don't know if you see me on Twitter, but I've been going in, I don't know, like all this week. I guess the week just started, but I do not like cross-play with PC because of that very reason. It breaks the parity. Yeah. And then you have these cheaters. Now, for console to console, I think that's fine because everybody's still the same. Everybody's at the same 30 frames or 40 frames, whatever it is, everybody's the same. Yeah. And so parity is being diminished a little bit with the Pro and the X, but the sales figures on those are so small that it's not really like that percentage of the market is actually pretty tiny.
Mm-hmm. Super chat. Andrew Wilkins says, Xbot 448 said, you shouldn't be swimming in the water anyway, and the Kraken will evolve. All Xbox fans are slow like this. Well, he gave you the answer, Optimus. that he was the one that said it. I was gonna wait till after the show, but yeah, he's the one. He's the one that did it. But it is a good point on that one. All right, so I think we hit the Grounded and Sea of Thieves. So let's see. So did I have one more topic before we get to the Super Bowl? Before we get to Super Bowl, because this is what Optimus really wants. Optimus is, and he's gonna go after Jay Barry more than anybody else. He's ready. He's ready for
what I do.
He's ready. He's ready for. So yeah. So you know what? We'll go right into it. So Optimus, the floor is yours. Present the topic you want to talk about, and then the cast, we will do our best to answer your question.
Well, my timeline and my mentions was full of people saying that Gamepass is horrible for the industry. Gamepass is going to destroy gaming. Everything is better off without Microsoft, and what they trying to do is just horrible. And so my buddy Jay Barry here, me and him go at it all the time, and he keeps telling me all the advantages of PS Now over Game Pass. And so my question was very simple. How is it that Game Pass is horrible for the industry, but PS Now is not? When most people say PS Now invented the notion of gaming services and they do it better, so how come they're not as big a threat to the industry as Microsoft?
I'm gonna let Jay Barry go, but I'm gonna say this, Optimus. I'm gonna let Jay Barry go, but me and Jay Barry may not see it the same. So I'm gonna do my take last on this whole thing, but let Jay Barry and everybody else have fun with this.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, like I don't deem Game Pass as something that is bad for the industry. I do think it has its place within the industry. My issue is that people is pushing this as their primary reason, like Microsoft is pushing the primary reason to even own their console. Like, you know, it's not a secondary thing. It's not like another option. They're pushing that as this their primary first option. Like, yo, Game Pass all over the place. And then when I'm starting to see that, you know, comments from gamers saying Game Pass is the future. I'm seeing comments, people saying that that it's okay to not have like sequels to games because you can just throw a game in there and leave it in Game Pass. You have the subs. There's no need for you to create a sequel because you can just continually, you know, grow the game within Game Pass. Those are my
right there. Let me stop. I agree with that, depending on the game, and I've discussed this before too. So, for example, a game like Madden, why pay $60 every year for a game that's barely different than the one you just had? I agree that for certain types of games, having that game as one game and just giving you updates to that game over time is better than charging you $60 every year. But I don't agree that that works for every type of game. But there are certain games where that is much better than what they currently do.
Yeah, but the thing is, people's not mentioning how you mention it, like, you know, certain type of games. I'm seeing people making it as a general statement.
Yeah.
You know, because they got Aaron Greenberg.
Okay. You know what I mean? I haven't seen that, but okay. All right.
That's a big issue for me because I feel like, yo, there's a lot of things in Game Pass where I'm looking at it from a first party standpoint. I don't like the games that's coming out of there. And how they're delivering their games, I don't like their delivery on their games either. Because, like I said, how I look at Game Pass and how Microsoft is presenting it to me is like, yo, here's our game, it's out on Game Pass day one. We'll finish that shit later in Game Pass.
Whoa,
that's
what game? What? Where? Give me some evidence.
All of their games. All of their games. Their games.
Oh
like
God.
I'm not saying that some of their games. All right, yes. Let me bring it into reality. Some of the games are complete, like a Crackdown and all that stuff. But look at the delivery and the presentation of that game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the passion when it comes to Microsoft games is not really there when I'm playing them because it's just like it's these horrible animations, is these lackluster stories. The multiplayer is trash, and you're just like, yo, you don't get that.
A lot of blanket statements. Hold on. So let me real quick, just so I can make sure I'm following you. All that stuff that you just said, which I don't agree with, by the way, but all the stuff that you just said, you're saying that those things are true because of Game Pass. And if you took Game Pass away, then those games would be better quality.
I feel like when it comes to Game Pass, like, developers can take less risk within their game because you have a game here that, you know, you get to play our game for $5 to $15 a month. Why should you complain if we don't have this in our game yet?
What developer has said that? I want to.
I'm talking about the reflection of the game.
I'm generalizing, like that's the feelings that
I don't think any developer has ever thought that.
No, I'm not saying the developer has said it, but I'm just saying that that's how I feel when I'm playing these games through Game Pass. There's certain games like look at Ori and the Will of the Wisp, man. The first Ori came out, that game ran perfectly for me, you know, on Xbox, and it ran perfectly when it's on PC. Yo, I boot that joint up in Game Pass. Sound issues, frame rate issues, all of this mess, and I'm like, yeah. Studios, I'm a little disappointed, you know what I mean? But it's in Game Pass. Everybody ignored it. 98 Metacritic. You know what I mean? But normally, for a typical game,
98 Metacritic,
it got a 90 Metacritic. If a game came out like that, that you paid $60 for and had all those issues, what people be doing? Oh, it had these issues in the game where the sound and the frame rate is messing up. You know that
they had a day one patch for it, right?
No, the game reviewers is reviewing the day one patch Optimus. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. All right, you got me on that one.
Nah, like I said, I don't feel like Game Pass is bad. You know what I mean? Like, I have mixed feelings on it as far as it's like, I don't think that developers are going to try their hardest when you have something like Game Pass that you can just, you know.
You say Game Pass makes the developers lazy.
it is a possibility it can't do that, and I see how people talk about Game Pass in the industry where they're saying things like they don't want to see sequels.
Okay, hold on. All right. So I think the light just came on for me. Tell me if I'm right. You think that the developers aren't lazy, but they see all of this interaction on Twitter where more and more people are excusing games because they are in Game Pass, and at some point they will be like, oh, well, our fan base will accept a little lesser effort, so let's get it out in Game Pass, and then we can just fix it up over time. So even if they're not doing it now, you think they will eventually, because the people are demonstrating that they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Look at, as much as we clown Halo Infinite, right? What is the sentiment? It's in day one Game Pass. Nobody's really counting as far as, damn, yo, that was probably a bad showing for your Series X. Nah, they're saying, guess what, guys? Why nobody's talking about Game Pass? That's what the industry is trying to push, rather than, yo, your first showing of this game is a lackluster showing. No, we're pushing Game Pass. And that's how I feel like the developers are going to start succumbing to that. The industry is going to start succumbing to that, where we're going to be getting these not even AAA games no more like that. We're going to get these AA small title games, and we're going to just feed people through Game Pass. And however the game is, if it's buggy or if it's messed up, oh, it's cool because we're only paying $5 a month. We're only paying $10 a month. You shouldn't be complaining because you have, 90 some other games you can play. And I think that's an issue.
I'll never say that. I will never. I don't care if I'm spending 32 cents. It's mine, and I want exactly what I paid for. I don't make excuses for trade.
Let me ask you something. Do you look at games differently now that you're playing it through Game Pass rather than buying it individually?
Absolutely not.
All right.
I don't care what I'm spending. If it's my money, I want the most for my money 100% of the time.
You're a different breed, but the reason why I bring up PS Now as well, because PlayStation is not really marketing PS Now as like their primary source of you obtaining their content. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think they're reliant on PS Now to whatever numbers they need to get. They're still dropping these AAA games that you can just tell. Just look at the animations. Just look at the storytelling that's being told. Like, yo, these devs have some care in what they're putting out there. When I look at these dev commentaries, they're saying like, yo, we hope we can please the fans with Horizon 2. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. They're thinking about the fan. But when you look at an Xbox game, guess what? You get to play day one in Game Pass. Yo, are you trying to play that? Yo, look at it, bro. Look for it.
The developers and all the Xbox studios do want to please the fans. That is not.
Hey, wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question, Optimus. Hey, wait, hold on. Do you think Bleeding Edge pleased the fans?
All right, before you move on to answer that question, let me kick in some super chat. Stormrider, $2 super chat, says Xbox 448 said the Kraken will evolve. Then as we scroll down, here you go, Andrew Wilkins. Thank you for the super chat. Wait, damn, this thing jumped out my way. Okay, Andrew Wilkins, he said, Code, on the PS side, we've been using consoles like PC since Sony makes better consoles than Xbox. PS3 use different OSs, and PS4, we swap out hard drives. You have anything? Yeah. But I wouldn't call it like a PC, though. PS3 probably, because you could have installed Linux, but I don't know how much capabilities you really had.
He's right, because it's very different than a Genesis or a Super Nintendo.
True. Yeah, that's true. Garuda Legends, it says, who signed more petitions for Nintendo or Sony games? The PC port begging race, or Xbox Daddy Feel is my queen gamers? So he's asking who signs more petitions for Sony and Nintendo games, PC or Xbox guys?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I don't. To be honest, I think it's more PC guys that ask for titles more than anybody else, because they don't have a proper first party like the consoles do.
They just get whatever.
Yeah, they just get whatever whoever decides to make it. Garuda again. Game Pass is Dollar General. You can only get shrimp and steak on Sony, and Nintendo be giving fresh surf and turf meals. I call Game Pass Chicken McNugget gaming. You get your 4-piece for 99 cents, a small sundae, and a side of fries and stuff. Okay,
man, stop.
So Optimus, go ahead. Now you can answer the question.
Well, before that, I'm saying this Game of the Year contenders in Game Pass. Y'all need to stop this.
Which one? Please tell me.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
But that was way after.
Lord have mercy.
That was way after.
I'm just saying this game of the year contenders.
And that was on PS Now too. But let me
anyway.
Go ahead.
So what was the question, Jay Barr?
No, I think it was all day.
No, I'm saying like,
Oh yeah, all day. My fault, bro.
look at Hellblade 2. You think if Hellblade 2 was like, you know, if they were a PlayStation studio, you think they would have came on this PlayStation showcase and said what they said? Like, oh, guys, we want to update you guys that we're in Iceland and check out our YouTube video. Nah, they know that people is clamoring for this game, but guess what? It's going to be day one in Game Pass. You can wait until you see this gameplay. You don't got to see this right now. We have that cushion where we can just do that wherever we want.
You know what too? I think that, and over time, I think the first party won't even matter. People are gonna be looking forward to what third parties in there. You know what I mean? Like they don't really gonna care
In
about
PS Now or Game Pass?
No, Game Pass.
How is that different than PS Now? Because the question isn't what's wrong with Game Pass. Because in my mind, y'all crazy. There's
No, Game Pass is a great deal.
I want to
Game
understand
Pass is a great deal.
how is
bro.
Game Pass worse than PS Now? That's the
Because
question.
the quality of the first party they put in there, because they tote first parties in Game Pass, but first parties are dog shit. So what does it really matter? You know what I mean?
Oh no! Again, but you're separating the things now. According to you, then, with or without Game Pass, the first party would be trash because they don't know how to make games. So that is not a function of Game Pass. That's just
I just want better quality inside of Game Pass to incentivize me.
I think without real talk, as much as I think Game Pass is a good deal, without Game Pass, these devs will put their best foot forward because they're trying to sell you that game more than trying to sell you the subscription. You know what I mean? The subscription is much cheaper, you know, of you getting $5 or $10 to play their game rather than you spending $60. You know, when I feel like you having that $60 retail price on your game, you're going to put your best foot forward because, you're trying to get as much money as you can out. I don't know what Microsoft is doing behind the Game Pass and all that stuff, but from since Game Pass came out and I'm looking at their first party games, in my personal opinion, they've been hot garbage.
so. Forza Horizon, Sea of Thieves, Gears 5.
Forza Horizon, personally, I don't really play racing games like that, but I'll give you Forza Horizon. But I'm playing games like Sea of Thieves, hot garbage. Crackdown, hot garbage. Gears, I'm not.
Crackdown was years before Game Pass. Crackdown was delayed 18,000 times. It's just a coincidence that it came out after Game Pass.
Gears was cool. But the lead developer left. Game Pass. I'm just saying.
Let me help out Jay Barry, all right? Because he's kind of touching touching on the point on how I feel, but he's saying it in a different way. Because there's a lot of assumptions on how a developer feels. Because the developer may be working hard, but again, if the publisher passes guidance on what type of games are being made, and the one who opened my eyes to that was David Jaffrey. Shout out to him. When Gears 5 came out, Gears is a good game, but it doesn't have that big pizzazz that Gears 1, 2, and 3 had. That big blockbuster, AAA. This is one of the top titles of Microsoft. It just didn't have it, right? And Jaffe said, when I told him that, he replied, well, who told you it was going to be that game? Because that might not be Microsoft's vision. And I'm thinking, motherfucker. Like... And the reason why he said that is because don't confuse what the developer can do and what they're being told to do. It's two different things. Facts. You understand what I'm saying? The publisher will decide how big of a game or how much of a scope they want because they're the ones with the money at the end of the day, right?
100% facts.
Right? So, and that's why he told me, don't equate what the capabilities a developer can do with what they're allowed to do based on the conscript of what the publisher says they want in their vision. So, what makes Game Pass more dangerous than PS Now, both services in concept are great. You get to play a whole bunch of games for a small subscriptions fee, and you just play them. Instantly download them and play them. So, the concept of being the Netflix type thing is great. So, let's just get that out the way. Money-wise, and just the concept is great for consumer, great for gamers. Where Game Pass differs from PS Now is pretty much the difference between Netflix and Disney Plus. And it's how the company decides how to run it. When Microsoft says they want to be the Netflix of gaming, they are becoming that in more ways than one, and most people aren't noticing. And what do I mean by that? When you look at Netflix, Netflix has always been the direct-to-home entertainment company. They never made big blockbuster theater. You never went to the theater, pay $40, $50, $60 out of IMAX or Dolby Digital Theater to watch a Netflix movie. They're not that company. They always provided direct-to-home viewing. You know, they started out with renting discs, mailing it, and then they evolved into video streaming, and then they evolved further into providing exclusive video streaming, which is Netflix production, right? Netflix type things. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, it's always been direct to home viewing. So you never held them to the standard of an Endgame, of a Dark Knight, of whatever other big blockbuster movies we've seen in theaters, No Country for Old Men, shit like that. You never hold them to the Godfather standards because Netflix is not that type of company, But it's not like they didn't make good stuff. Bird Box was a good movie, but you sure as hell wouldn't put that in a big theater. Bright was a good movie with Will Smith, but you sure as hell won't put that movie in a theater. They make good movies, but they don't make big blockbuster theater level titles. And that's cool. That's Netflix. They've always been that way. When you look at Disney, they introduced Disney Plus, fastest, subscribing service right now, right? But they still produce big blockbuster theater content. You're not going to watch, Doctor Strange when it comes out day one on Disney Plus. You're not going to watch Blade day one on Disney Plus. You want to watch those big blockbuster level events, you got to go to the theater. So why do I say that with Microsoft and Sony? When you look at Microsoft, if Microsoft was still all about the big blockbuster $60 entry level gaming, you cannot play this game day one on Game Pass. You have to pay $60. This is a big blockbuster title. Do you think they still would have shown Halo Infinite the way it was if that was their attitude?
Exactly.
How about this?
So
do you think?
Question and concept, but yeah, I think they would have got the same Halo demo. Or they
hell nah. Optimus. Yeah. Look in the past. Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach. They never showed a terrible Halo. Never. This is the first time I seen a Halo reveal, and it was not only bad, but straight up underwhelming. Every other Halo event that they shown, Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, then they showed this thing like a movie. That thing was like a big blockbuster event.
But some things are not. I think I'm not really sure how much I can say, but there are just some internal issues at 343 to where that just would have happened regardless because you're not going to get. There's just some internal things going on and things need to be worked out. I do agree the spirit of what you're saying. But in this instance, their only option would have been to not show it at all or to try to make the best with the demo that they could get under these conditions.
So let's say like this. Let's say it's internal to 343. But does 343 make the final call on what they show, or is there someone above them? There's someone above them.
I think that works. It works hand in hand. So somebody above them can try to mandate XYZ, but you can't get blood out of a turnip. And if it's not ready, you either
let me put it this way: do you think Sony would show some shit like that?
Do I think they would have pushed it back? No, I think they probably would have done like a CGI thing or like a trailer.
Sony would not have shown that. They would have not have shown that shit.
Done a game trailer.
They would have shown a trailer, or they would have just removed it completely. They would have not have shown that. Sony could clearly see and be like, how do you expect people to pay $60 for this? Like, you really think people are going to drop 60 bones? Do you think Naughty Dog would show some shit like that? Hell no. Hell no.
So here, let me. There's a couple things you said, P-Rock. I want to. So first you used the Disney model.
Yes.
And you said that Disney, you got the blockbuster title. So here's the thing, though. This is what it seems like y'all are saying to me. So Disney said they're going to make the next blockbuster, say Black Widow. Say they're going to make Black Widow. It seems like y'all are saying that if Disney is going to make Black Widow and put it in Disney Plus, that they will then make a lesser Black Widow because it's in Disney Plus.
Yes.
And I just disagree with that.
Yes, because you could clearly.
I don't think people, actors, they don't give less effort. Directors don't try to do less. Like, nobody that's working on that film will try to give less than they normally would because it's going into Disney Plus.
Look at
everyone's going to try to do their best job
no.
all the time.
As far as professionals, they'll do their best job. Like a developer will always work to their best, but within a constraint of what's given to them. You understand? Look at Netflix movies. They're movies just like any other movie, but you sure as hell won't be seeing Bright in the theater. You could tell. Bright ain't no goddamn day one IMAX for $30. Ain't nobody seen that shit.
They probably wasn't trying to make
That's what I'm trying to say. There you go. If the movie is not a big blockbuster day one at theater, then we're not gonna have that level of production for that. We're gonna make it the best entertaining product we can, but if it's a Disney Director Plus movie, then it's gonna be a Disney Director Plus movie. We're not gonna give it the Sony IMAX treatment like we will with these products.
Let me do this a different way. You're saying then that The Mandalorian as a series would have been better if people would have had to pay for it.
It would have been different. And it probably would have been better. See, the Mandalorian is hard because it's a series. It's a TV series.
And it's great.
It's great. It's a great. Let's see, but would you take one of those episodes and put it in theater? Or take 2 hours of it? No.
One episode? No.
Hell nah. You see what I'm saying? It's just a different mindset, you know? And even the movie theaters. And look at how the movie industry sees Netflix, streaming, and that. Before you move on. And it's not just me making it up. A lot of people in Hollywood feel that Netflix and direct-to-streaming movies do not rate to be at the Oscars. That's just not... It's a totally different production level. So it's not just me as a consumer, it's the professional industry. They see it that way too. They see a stark difference between theater level production and direct to stream production. Two different things.
All right, so so that's where I'm gonna jump in at, because I don't know. So one thing, typically like in software development, when you have people that disagree, what happens is you'll find somebody, and when they arguing, they'll try to take the best person on their side and pit them against the worst person on the other side, and vice versa. And so in my mind, you may not be doing it intentionally, but you're picking like the very best blockbuster movies. And I would say to you that there are plenty of movies that go to theater first that are way worse than anything that's on Netflix, and that there are movies that go to theater that are better than things that's on Netflix. But none of it is because it went to the theater or because it went to Netflix. I have gone to see summer blockbusters that I thought would be great, and it was trash. Yes. And there have been better movies on net. So it's not the fact that they had big budgets. I went to see that Waterworld trash. Well, that was probably before your time. You won't know about that. But there are plenty of movies. I saw that movie. There are plenty of movies that I have seen that were supposed to be great, but they just weren't. And that happens to this very day. Well, not during the pandemic. Yeah. So I think it's more to it than just it goes to Netflix or not. And then another thing, Porter Rock, and you can attest to this because me and you, we looked at like sales. We looked at earnings reports from Sony before. And you even brought this up in a couple of your tweets. And for all the stuff that Jay Barry and All Day is saying, at the end of the day, Sony made at least double from their services than they did from game sales. So at the end of the day, the most profitable thing for Sony are their services and all the game sales. And I love the Sony games. I'm a big advocate of quality gaming, and they definitely have excellent games. But at the end of the day, it is not as profitable as their services. And Sony is going on the record letting you know, hey, we need to make more money. Long story short, we need to make more money off of game sales. And so keep in mind that each company is going to try to introduce new revenue streams or try to get more for the effort that they put into this, because that shit is not easy to create them quality games. Yeah. And they need a bigger return on their investment. Mm-hmm. So I don't agree that if you put it in the service, that means it has to be bad. And then the last thing I'll say, and this is from experience, I can't really say where, but I definitely know people that work. I'm about to make a big assumption here. I'm assuming that because Microsoft did this with these people that I know, then I'm making the assumption that they're doing it with everybody else. I could be 100% wrong. I don't know. But I know for sure at this one place, Microsoft has not mandated. When Microsoft bought this company, Microsoft told them that you're free to create whatever you want. And so far, that has held true. And there has not been any interference from Microsoft that says you need to change this or reduce the scope or get it in Game Pass to hurry up or any of that. They are free to create their vision that they want without any interference.
Ninja Theory.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Because I know, because Ninja Theory is one of those companies, but the thing is it's a trick. How can I put? All right, so let me put it this way. So when Microsoft bought Ninja Theory, Microsoft was adamant about, we bought Ninja Theory. We're not going to change the way they are. They could do whatever they want. They have free reigns to do it. And everybody's like, oh, that's cool.
I think they said that with everybody. Yeah.
But the thing is, Ninja Theory already was structuring their company to produce AA games and try to give it the appearance of AAA blockbuster games. They already had it in their mindset that they cannot invest 200 people into one game and wait 4 or 5 years. So they were already doing something that Microsoft would have liked as a company. You understand? Without having to tell them to do. You understand what I'm saying? So while Microsoft is telling the truth, but they actually already bought a developer that's doing what they want them to do, which is not have huge bloated developers, not 200-300 staff, and not wait 4 or 5 years to make a game.
Microsoft has been transparent about that, right, P? They said we want some AAA and we want some AA that's as close to AAA as we can get. Yes, so they're not trying to be deceptive.
The problem is their AAAs ain't, and maybe it's our and maybe it's our fault because when we think of AAA, we're always going to compare it to Sony. Maybe it's about time we stop comparing Microsoft to Sony and just admit they're not on that level, and then and be done with the conversation. Is that fair to say?
I mean, not yet. I think it's premature. I think that.
He said, "Please."
I don't know. I really got a lot of confidence in what's coming. There's just a lot going on, P. Right at the surface level. I think I can understand how some people would think that, and if people were skeptical and they were on the fence, just like Microsoft proved it to me. Sure, because I was that way myself.
Yeah.
I was that way. I was disappointed in what I had invested versus what I got in return. But I know that the type of game player that I am, so I don't make rational decisions. I buy what I want because it's my money and I want it, so I buy it.
Yeah.
That being said, I was disappointed and I expect more. I do believe that I'm going to get more, but there's just only so much that you can say at certain times. But I would certainly understand if someone else didn't believe the way that I did and they were more skeptical and they just needed more proof. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, let me hit some bills up. Andrew Wilkins, he says, fact is no one likes any Xbox games this gen. Sony players actually likes PS4 exclusives. That's why PS Now isn't that big now. Game Pass is a crutch. Gamer O'Malley says, why are bots so against asking Xbox to do better? Gamer O'Malley, good question. What else? We got Garuda.
Yeah, who's against that? Shit, ain't nobody against that.
Oh, they shouldn't, right? I think maybe less damage control. I
agree with that.
Yeah, less damage control.
I'm like, as Xbox fans, we need to demand this, that, and people start attacking me. I'm sure, like we said earlier, I'm trying to help you understand so we can be a better, more educated consumer like PCs, and we can move as one because we understand the industry. And they want to fight.
Yeah, you're like, and you're thinking, well, fine, burn. I'm just trying to get you out of a burning building. Screw it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Garuda Legends. So Grounded and Bleeding Edge, new games versus The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Laughing. I want what they smoking playing that Game Pass. Glorious War. Game Pass will drive the development of gas-only games. No more single-player games from Xbox with the level of production like Sony. Look at Halo. That's going to be interesting because the Halo multiplayer is free-to-play, which means the Halo single-player is the purchase game, right? You either play it through Game Pass or you have to buy it. So how big of a scope will the single-player be now that it's separate from the multiplayer?
That's a really good question.
I think
it's going to be separated, bro.
It is separated. No, because the multiplayer is free to play, so you don't need the game. Technically, you shouldn't even need Game Pass. All you need is to subscribe to Gold, and you could play Halo Infinite multiplayer. So to play the single player, what?
You need Gold. If you need gold, it's not free.
Yeah, we know that. But I mean, that's a whole. Yeah, we fought that battle and they just damage control. But the reality is, you don't have to buy Halo Infinite to play the multiplayer. The multiplayer is free to play, so it's separate from the single player. So that means the single player itself is its own content that you pay through Game Pass, or you have to buy it for, let's say, $60. How good of a campaign will it be? Because this is the first time that happened for Halo.
I think it has to be good. Like It
has to be pretty big.
Option. Yeah.
I think you're gonna get hit with we'll finish that shit later with Game Pass.
Oh shit. Now here's my thing. What if you buy the game for $60? Will they include everything anyway, along with Game Pass, like all the DLC, all the maps, or will it be more like Destiny, where you had to buy each expansion pack to improve the game? That's a good question.
With Game Pass, you don't get the DLC and stuff. You only get the base game. You still have to buy.
Well, Game Pass Ultimate though, you get everything though, right?
No,
not even Game Pass. I thought Game Pass Ultimate, you get all the DLC.
I thought with Game Pass you get all the DLC, because that's how PS Now is. You get all the DLC.
I thought Ultimate. I thought Game Pass Ultimate.
I know. I have Game Pass Ultimate and I have Forza Horizon 4, and it's still shit that I have to go buy if I want it.
God damn! PS Now, you get all the DLC.
The expansions, you ain't got to pay for that. You probably got to pay for like a little microtransaction.
Oh, microtransaction. Yeah, I'm talking about like the expansion packs. I don't know. I thought Ultimate included all the expansion packs.
I don't know. I done bought car packs and shit, a whole bunch of different stuff.
I thought that included everything.
Love it.
All right.
Yeah, maybe that's something new. Maybe I'll have to look into
Double check, because you might be buying shit you don't need to buy if you got Game Pass Ultimate.
To be honest with you, I think they do.
Double check, because you might be buying shit you don't need to buy as a Game Pass Ultimate.
I think I better do that, man. I am going to
He'll be mad as hell. He like, Flaffy 1101, he says, Halo 4 5 misleading, reveal got money behind it. Oh, the Halo 4 5 reveal? Yeah, they did have big money behind it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think Halo 5 is, not Halo 5, Halo Infinite is going to be a good game regardless, but it's gonna have that games as a service model, because why? It's not because they want the game to expand and they want to keep you in Game Pass, so they're gonna use their biggest title to hold you in there.
Okay, JD Gamer.
I mean, which is common sense, but
All right, JD Gamer.
They changed the whole structure of what Halo is gonna be. Like the whole Halo games are formulated. Okay. It's not going to be the single player experience that you're going to enjoy the story, keep it moving. Nope, it's going to be expanded upon within years upon years upon years through Game Pass.
So JD Gamer, super chat. I give a super chat. He goes, "Are you literally arguing with a game developer about the game industry? Come on, man, y'all sounding crazy arguing with Optimus. Hey, Optimus, did we sound? Do we sound crazy?
Respond to that. So,
hold on. Can you put JD Gamer in his place?
Well, I'm not putting him in his place. I've said this on Twitter plenty of times. Y'all can look and see. Y'all can check my record. Every single person on this planet can be wrong. Just because I am a former game developer, I don't develop games anymore. I develop cloud applications now. But anybody can be wrong. Nobody is above reproach. Nobody is above correcting. Just because I worked in the industry before doesn't mean I know everything. So I can certainly make mistakes. I can certainly be wrong. Like I've probably been buying DLC that I didn't need to. Everybody can be wrong and make mistakes, and everybody can challenge everybody. And as long as people are respectful about it, we all just trying to learn. There's no agenda here other than Jay Barry on track. There's no agenda here. Everybody's just trying to make sure that we got the information out there.
Now coding, I'm not even gonna have the conversation. I would just sit back and just shut up. Because that's definitely your forte, you know what I'm saying? But what we were talking about was mostly sales and just how the appearance of games. So coding would be a one-way conversation. We would just sit and listen, and we wouldn't argue. We would just actually be here and learning and stuff like that. But just to let you know about JD Gamer, he's an Xbox dude. So just that I know JD Gamer, so he's very hardcore Xbox.
Man, I think JD, you can have a lot of faith in Xbox Series X. I don't think you're gonna be disappointed. That being said, really quick though, P-Rock, because I've noticed this thing, and like I see it going both ways, and I don't like it either way. I saw a lot of the Xbox fan base really jumping on Gran Turismo 7 with the pop in. I'm like, y'all realize this is pre-release footage, right? Mm-hmm. And so then here comes Halo Infinite. And now the other side, and I hate those terms, this side versus that side, but here we are. and now it's being attacked, and it's also pre-release footage.
Yeah.
So I really think that if you're gonna form an opinion, you should at least wait until beta.
The final
really,
product.
I think it should be on the release game, but at least wait till beta.
I agree.
Yeah.
Me personally is always the final product. You know, then you bash it because even beta, they're still gonna fix some shit, right? My only complaint really with the Xbox showing in terms of the tech perspective is that none of the games were shown on Xbox Series X. It was still PC.
Yeah, that bothered me too. I didn't find out until after the show, though.
That's my beef, right? So you know, for months everybody's telling me about the power and what the Series X can do, but Microsoft's still not showing the games on Series X. So you have to wonder, man, it's August. There's only a few more months before you sell this console. Like, what are you waiting for to show the games running on the console? You understand what I'm saying? That's my only thing. That's it, you know.
You're trying to push this console, say that games being developed ground up, but you're not showing anything that's running on it.
You're still using PC. Like, what the hell is going on here? PlayStation, for better, I mean, you could judge the graphics. You could say it doesn't look next gen. That's fine. I mean, some games didn't look next gen, which is true. But at least you know one thing. This is what the console's going to show. They're showing you games running on the console, which is they plan to sell you come this holiday. So they're not hiding anything. You know what I'm saying?
JD Game, stop being sensitive too, man, in the chat, man. Listen, I compare both. If you've been knowing me for a long time, I don't speak on anything that's not experienced on. The reason why I bring up Game Pass and I compare it to PS Now because I subscribe to both of them. I've been subscribed to Game Pass for more than 2 years. So it's not like I'm saying stuff that is just coming out my ass when I speak about these things. I'm speaking from experience.
Right.
You know, and that's why I can go rebuttal, like, you know, if Optimus have a different opinion, I respect his opinion, but, you know, we can go back and forth because I'm speaking from experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Flaffy says, Optimus, they have less budget if it's in subscription. Maybe not. I think Halo, no, not even, because Halo did have a big budget. What, 500 million?
Yeah,
right?
I can't really talk about the Halo 343 stuff because I might get myself into trouble.
True. But that's the rumored. $500 million, but I think that $500 million could potentially be long term, like, you know, with more maps, long term. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, like over time.
Yeah, it's $500 million over time, not for the engine. They didn't spend $500 million on the engine. Yeah. So that could be the stuff like that. Let's see. What else we got? Scrolling down, so I don't skip nothing. JD Gamer again. The medium and velocity architecture is better. Well, the medium's timed exclusive, so it's gonna be on PlayStation. So, I mean,
is that true? I've seen a couple people say that.
So the reason why is, so this is what you have to do when you watch a Microsoft show. They have a term called console launch exclusive. What that means is launching first on their console. So anytime you see console launch exclusive, there's a difference between console exclusive and console launch exclusive. When they add the word launch, they're telling you it's coming on Xbox first, and then other consoles later.
Interesting.
So that's the term console. So once they show medium again and it said console launch exclusive, that means it's coming to PS5. Right. And then we'll see that. And the velocity architecture is better. Now here's the thing. At the end of the day, we could all make assumption which architecture is better, but until the games come out, we ain't gonna know which architecture is truly better.
They didn't show that with Halo.
You definitely didn't see, you know. But that was on PC, so we can't even blame Series X on that. Undead Magus, thank you for the super chat.
The architecture it's not on PC. I think it's pretty sure on PC, right?
The velocity, nah. Right, Optimus?
No, velocity architecture is not on PC.
Yeah, it's not on PC.
But they can do some things to approximate it.
They could do something similar?
Yeah, I mean, because the computers, the CPUs themselves are so much more powerful, they can brute force a lot of the stuff that they have custom hardware for in the Series X.
All right. Okay. JD Gamer, PS fans can't keep Game Pass out of their mouths. Why? Because they wish PS Now was like Game Pass, out there spreading uncertainty and misinformation. Well, JD, PS Now is Game Pass.
That's true.
PS Now?
That is true, P-Rock. I've seen a lot of PlayStation people, like I said, Game Pass is going to ruin the industry, and it's a horrible deal, and all the games is trash. And while I respect people's ability to have those opinions, I do not agree with them, not one bit.
Because of the things that people are saying about Game, like, nobody's really knocking Game Pass per se, but he was putting out Game Pass is like, yo, like I said, when I saw somebody say that, yo, and they was interviewing Aaron Greenberg, they was like, yeah, forget about the sequel. You know, you can use the subscribers that you have in Game Pass and just keep.
That was with Paris.
Pushing.
That was with the gamer tag radio.
Nah, this is not my future. I don't want that. If that's how you looking at Game Pass, that's how you doing it. I do not want that in gaming because that's how I feel like gaming is. That's how you're going to destroy gaming. You're not going to push innovation. You're not going to push, exceeding your previous titles and stuff like that. You're gonna be pushing these smaller type of games so you can fit them in Game Pass and expand from it because you have subs on Game Pass.
So how about this? Is it safe to say that at a minimum, people are using Game Pass as a scapegoat for how bad Microsoft is doing? Could that be it? Whether it's true or not, people want to use something to blame.
I think people are doing, yes.
Could it be that more than anything else? People need to find a sacrificial lamb for how bad Microsoft, and the only logical or not, whether it's logical or illogical, the only explanation's got to be, man, it's got to be Game Pass. It's got to be. Microsoft's doing terrible because of Game Pass. It has to be that.
To me, it is Game Pass. It is Game Pass. Why they games coming out the way it's coming out? It is because of Game Pass. We'll fix that shit later. But
Optimus, but do you think that's a perception that things are going so wrong because of Game Pass and people are just blaming Game Pass and they're afraid because of that perception that if Sony does the same thing, then their first party will head down that route as well? Could it be that?
You have hit the nail right on the head. That is exactly the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that I see being spread as it regards to Game Pass. Like, I haven't seen quality content to my expectation, and it's got to be because of Game Pass. Exactly what you just said. Okay. Is it really Game Pass? No. But will people use hyperbole and build the case in their minds that it is Game Pass? Absolutely.
So let's say, since this is a consumer industry, right? Perception is more powerful than fact, right? For example, in 2013, right, for 2 years after Xbox One launched, right, people still thought that games were locked out, and that they still thought that Xbox One had that DRM system, which it didn't. It never launched, but the perception was, yes, it does have it, and it impacted the sales of the Xbox One for like 2 years because people assumed the Xbox One still had that, even though Microsoft never used it. They canceled it. They canceled it after a week in June, so it never launched. So would you say, if it's perception and is impacting it, what do you think? Does Microsoft know this? Does Microsoft see that there's a negative perception behind Game Pass? And do you think they're going to try to change that negative perception?
I do agree 100% that the market's perception of your product is more important than the actual version of your product. 100% true. That being said, I don't think that the market thinks negatively of Game Pass. I think that there is a certain segment of the market who, I won't use their initials, but their name is Jay Barry, who feel that way about Game Pass, and they're very vocal, and they got a lot of followers that buy into this mindset. But by and large, like you saw that one girl, I always forget her name, but she worked at IGN or Woman, whatever.
Alana.
And she was like, we got to understand. Yeah. She was like, Game Pass is a great deal, and people are not acknowledging. Now, I don't agree with her sentiment. I do not agree that if people don't like the games in Game Pass, that they have to acknowledge that it's this great thing.
There you go. Because I was going to hit on that, because I saw that too. She says, even if you didn't like it, just say you like it anyway, so you can force other companies to do it. And I didn't agree with that, because if I don't like it, then why do I want other people to do it?
I'm with you on that one. Everybody has a right to form their own opinion. I do not believe in just trying to have positive vibes on something that you don't want to support. I don't agree with any of that.
So
I disagree that the games are trash.
So when
if people legitimately feel that, then they have a right to that opinion.
So when she said, hold on, one thing, wait, before we move on. When she said that, right there, in my opinion, she lost credibility to me in how she pushes Game Pass, because to me, she just admitted that even if she don't like something about Game Pass, she's not going to tell you. She's just gonna always be positive about Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's what she told me. She pretty much said that she's always gonna be positive about Game Pass. So I'm not gonna listen to her anymore when it comes to Game Pass because I already know where she's coming from. I already see where she's coming from. It's always gonna be a positive gesture. Therefore, she ain't gonna be real with me. So I have no reason to listen to her in terms of this topic. And then I have to question other shit from here on out. Like, do you really feel that way, or are you just saying it's good because of some other reason?
What serves a greater purpose?
Yeah, is there a different purpose behind your positivity?
Look how people viewed the PlayStation 5 showcase and the Xbox showcase. A lot of people criticized or was real critical on what was shown from the PlayStation 5, conference as far as like the merits of the games being showed, right? Yeah. Okay, this game, how this game looks, how whatever. The pacing of the show and all that stuff. People was, criticizing or how they viewed Microsoft's show based off of, all these games are going to be on Game Pass. They wasn't thinking about the games, which game is being presented individually. They thinking about it as a collective group. This thing is being presented on Game Pass. Game Pass is the true seller, not the game. You know what I mean? So the viewpoint was skewed on how people even look at how these shows are being presented now because, it could be like you said, it could be a horrible showing. The games you don't like, but everything's on Game Pass. That's good.
Okay. JD Gamer. JD Gamer. He says, I'm not an Xbox dude. I'm a gamer. I own it all. You can own it all, but you can still have a preference. I truly believe that. Like me, I own an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. Too. But I clearly have a preference of PlayStation over Xbox. And that's mostly because Xbox game sucks. What else we got? Damn.
Stop this.
Garuda Legends. He said, at Zombie256, Spider-Man, then Sony Entertainment. Go look at all your Spider-Man movies, Venom movies, Sony Entertainment. Don't blame Sony for making Spider-Man movies. Blame MS for having nothing. Stop. Well, I think he's replying to somebody else in the chat, but I will say the movie property and the game property were two different rights. If you notice, before Spider-Man PS4, it was Activision that was making all the Spider-Man games since like PS1. They had the rights to that game for decades. Yeah, they had it for decades. I think maybe even before PS1. So Activision was the Spider-Man IP owner for the games. But then once the last
Activision game, they were bashing P. Rock. Yeah. You remember that one, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or whatever?
Yeah,
they were bashing that joke. This is Xbox? Yeah,
people started loving it once Sony got the IP rights. Oh no, man, the games were always good. Now how come nobody bought it? It didn't even sell 1 million copies. Like, stop lying. Y'all don't like this shit. Andrew Wilkins, Michael Jackson's the reason Sony has movie rights. MJ was a huge Spider-Man fan and tried to buy Marvel catalog for $83 million in early 90s. Sony stopped it. I don't think that's true because I read what happened. No, I read what happened. So in the 80s, Marvel was going bankrupt, right? They wanted to sell the IPs for movie rights to all these different studios. They actually went to Sony first. Sony had the ability for a low price to buy the entire Marvel Universe catalog. But the only stipulation is they had to make either movies or TV shows every certain amount of years or whatever. That's the same thing with the Spider-Man right now. Sony's going to own this. You ever wonder why Sony keeps rebranding Spider-Man over and over and over? And everybody's thinking, damn, why does Sony keep fucking releasing reboots of Spider-Man? It's because they have to. Because if they don't make so many Spider-Man movies, after a certain period, the rights automatically go back to Marvel. So they have to make a Spider-Man movie every so often. If they don't, boom, you lose the rights. So they will reboot that franchise to hell and back so they can maintain the rights for the movies. Well, Sony had the opportunity to buy the whole Marvel Universe, but they only want the Spider-Man because at the time, Spider-Man was the only relevant character. Then other studios came in. They'd be like, hey, we'll buy the Hulk. Hey, we'll buy Captain America. Hey, we'll buy Fantastic Four. Hey, we'll buy these groups. And then that's how it became all fragmented. Because everybody was buying all these IPs, but there was a catch. You have to make something. Whether it's a TV show or a movie, you got to do something. You can't let it stagnate. If you let it stagnate, it's coming back to Marvel automatically. And they all agreed to that.
Man, that's good information. So do you know why Disney took Daredevil from Netflix?
Oh, because I was really no, because of Hulu. Because of Hulu. So Disney bought two products, right? They bought two. They created Disney Plus, but they bought Hulu. So Hulu's theirs. There's a reason why they bought Hulu, because Disney knows Disney Plus is going to be geared towards very family friendly oriented content. But they know they're still going to make darker content that they're still going to make, but they can't put it on. That's why you're going to see Marvel stuff on Hulu, and people are going to be wondering, why the hell is it on Hulu and not on Disney Plus? It's because it's going to be a very darker content. Like, for example, when the movie Blade, after it comes out in theaters, when they put it for streaming, they're not going to put that on Disney Plus. It's going to be streamed on Hulu. So all the...
Yeah, they did that back in the 80s and 90s. They had Tombstone Pictures so where they could make movies.
It wasn't associated with Disney, even though it was their studio. So the Netflix... Once they decided, hey, we're going into streaming, they just stopped all contracts with Netflix. And Netflix still had the rights to Daredevil, but only for a limited time. Now, the time elapsed.
I heard that they're picking back up Daredevil, but I don't think Netflix is going to, be producing it. I think it's, like you said, like Hulu's going to...
Well, they lost it. Yeah, Netflix lost the rights. That's it. Disney didn't continue because they got their own stuff. Now, does that mean Daredevil's going to be back? I don't necessarily know, but at a minimum, Disney's making sure all their Marvel content is streamlined onto their two platforms, Disney Plus or Hulu, Vice, Netflix.
Disney locked it all up because they got the rights from Fox now. X-Men is back with, Marvel and all that stuff.
So they're trying to lock all that content up, right? And that's what they're trying to do. Andrew Wilkins, Michael Jack. Oh yeah, we already read that. JD Gamer saying things like Game Pass fodder or that it has no AAA games is spreading misinformation when you could Google lists and see the actual games. So on paper, you can say yes, it has Gears, has Halo, has Forza, right? But at the end of the day, what we're talking about is the reaction. Again, Halo Infinite. Go to Google, go to E3 2006 and look at the Halo 3 reaction at E3 and then compare that to what we just saw. And at the end of the day, you could type, you could look at spec sheets, you can list. But at the end of the day, the gamer's reaction, they're going to feel what they're going to feel. And if they're not impressed with what they're seeing, there's no way you're going to convince them otherwise. Because at the end of the day, they're going to spend their money on what they want. If a game don't look big blockbuster to them, then to them it's not a big blockbuster game. And they're not going to pay for it. And at the end of the day, it's Sony's and Microsoft's job to convince people that the product is worth the money you're going to spend. We could argue all day, but no matter, like JD Gamer, you could give me a 10,000 page report, but at the end of the day, I'm going to put my money what the hell I put on, and there's nothing you can do about that. At the end of the day, it's on Sony and Microsoft to convince people to swipe that debit card. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to it. All we're doing is talking, giving our opinion on what they should do to make that happen. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're just guys on a podcast talking. It's Microsoft and Sony's responsibility to show, hey, you need to play this game. It's on them. It's not on us, really, to do all the work for them. And I think I hit up all the super chats. All right. Oh, wait. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Oh, my God. This thing popped up. And it's a lot of it's Optimus. Next one is King Prey. Jay Barry, can you name the Game Pass affected? So what game you think Game Pass impacted?
I can name you.
He's gonna say all of them. This dude.
I can tell you one that's Game Pass going to impact is Halo Infinite. Just look at the structure of that game how it's being made. It's something different than normally the norm of how a Halo game would come out. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's say Game Pass, Halo Infinite our day one of Game Pass. I'm pretty sure that ray tracing would have been in there day one.
Okay.
But they put their best foot forward. Now that you have Game Pass, you paying $5 for this game? You get it for $1 for 3 years? We'll patch that shit in later.
Oh. No, hey, Optimus, can you explain that? I am so glad you're here. Can you help us understand that? Why is ray tracing going to be patched later? Isn't it hardware level? Like, I don't understand that. And I wasn't going to ask that question on Twitter, but I'm glad you're here. Maybe you could help me understand.
It is kind of hardware implemented. That's true, but you still, it has to be part of the API, and then you still have to have your level designed in such a way that it can take advantage of it without killing your frame rate.
Yeah.
So there is not like you just flip a switch and it's on.
Okay.
You still have to do stuff. But that being said, it's again using Halo's not a good example because it's internal struggles at 343, and it's not the fault of the platform or Game Pass.
It's personnel.
It's just stuff that needs to be addressed internally.
Okay, all right. Okay, JD Gamer, he says Optimus spitting facts. My opinion is that I love Sony single player and Japanese games, but that's not all I play. In every other genre, Xbox is better.
Why is this man trying to prove to people like, yo, you good, man?
I told you he was an Xbox dude. I'm just saying. Hey, like at the end of the day,
that's all.
Yeah, people.
There's nothing wrong with that man clarifying, like, okay, for the record, here's my stance.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that upsetting? He should be able to do that.
Yeah. So like, hey, everybody's gonna like whatever they like, right? I think the conversation we really have is who's doing it better to get the people to like their platform the most. I think that's really what the convo 9 times out of 10 really is about. Because really, you could take any platform, even the Dreamcast, which failed, right? But there was people who still love it, right? I loved it for the time that it was around. I still love it to this day, right?
Dreamcast,
but you know,
yes, sir.
But the conversation is what Sega could have done better to sustain. You know, I think that's what really we all talk about. JD Gamer, my preference is old Sega consoles and Nintendo. I was definitely a Sega fan back then. And JD Gamer, the MJ thing is true. He did want Marvel, and at the time he was Sony Music's highest earning artist. He was buying lots of assets, including the Beatles. I just don't remember reading anything about MJ when Marvel, and it was a thing with Marvel I read. Yeah, because it was an article on Marvel because it was around the time Fox, and I forgot who was being interviewed. And he was the one that was mentioning Marvel's struggle in the 80s, that how much they almost went bankrupt, and that they had to look towards the entertainment industry, the movie and TV industry to try to save them. But they were in a bad place at one point. JD Gamer, Red Dead Redemption 2, Devil May Cry 5,
was
PS5.
Stan Lee because he had
It wasn't Stan Lee. It was I know he's been there, but it wasn't with him because then I would have remembered. But it was someone who's been around with him. JD Gamer, Red Dead Redemption 2, Devil May Cry, Gears 5, Forza 4, all well received AAA, Blockbuster, and Game Pass, so it's not a matter of opinion, it's fact. A lot of those games are on PS Now too, and you said PS Now's dog shit. So JD Gamer, so what's your energy now? I could play Control, Red Dead Redemption was there. There's a lot of AAA and PS Now, and you guys say it's dog shit. So tell me, which is it? Is PS Now still dog shit, even though there's a lot of AAA that can be played on it?
Funny too.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of games as praise that Game Pass get on the third party wise, they've been in PS.
Yeah, some of the games are there. Yeah, like I remember when they made Grand Theft Auto 5 a big deal. It was already on PS Now.
Yeah.
So Jay Barry tried to argue with me that streaming on PS Now is in 4K at 100 frames per second.
Hell nah, stop. You did not say that, Jay Barry.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I definitely didn't say that. I didn't say I'm saying that I question people that say they had a bad experience with streaming PlayStation Now when they have internet that's a gigabit down and where the minimum requirement is 5 megabits per second down to run the service. I just find it difficult. If you can play your Netflix movies and stream that perfectly fine, but you can't stream PS Now games, it's kind of questionable. When I hear
my integrity, when I tell you I had streaming issues with PS Now, you don't believe me.
Nah, what's your internet like? I know your internet is pretty amazing.
That's so gigabit down, just like you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I do question that because I have the same internet. I have gigabit down. I have streamed PlayStation Now. While streaming, showing it right there on YouTube and no issues. But
let me play devil's advocate, right? Because I'm sure Optimus could go into a deeper level. You also have to see how close you are to like the server, right? Because you're in New York. You're in New York. You might have gig in Idaho. But if the ping is much further away than compared to you, that will impact the latency between you. Just because you have people confused, just because you have a gig service doesn't mean you're close to where their server thing is at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're distance to the
dedicated server.
Yeah.
You say you could be in New York with a 200 meg server and get better, PS Now, whatever, compared to a person who's gig and he's in Utah. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So you got.
It's just going to depend on where those nodes are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
that was the word, the node. That was the word, the node. Yeah. So the distance between nodes is probably more important than the actual servers you got yourself, because.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true because a game can have dedicated servers, but you're pinned all the way.
Remember, J-Bar, you're in New York, so your sector is Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. A lot of companies, they put a lot of nodes in that area because of the huge density of population the Northeast has. As compared to the Midwest, where you could like North Dakota has like 700,000 people, the whole state. You know what I'm saying? So, Brooklyn has a bigger population than most states.
They got to ride a bike to start their internet.
Yeah, like Brooklyn has a bigger population than the Midwest. So nodes is really important. So the Northeast, they put a lot of nodes there because there's such a packed population in that one sector of government.
Hey, nigga said, I'm going to send you an email. Let me just write it around.
Yeah, man, they're going to put on a pigeon and let that motherfucker fly. You know what I'm saying? That is for real, Garuda, my man said Game Pass gave y'all Bleeding Edge on Game Pass. Well, I'm going to say Bleeding Edge was already a project in the works. A massive waste of time and resources from actual good devs. First wave of shovelware with Sea of Thieves.
That's the thing. Bleeding Edge to me is not a bad game, but it's an incomplete mess. You know what I mean? Like when I play Bleeding Edge, I'm just like, I feel like there's no risk really taken here. You can ramp up these characters much more. The level design is just bland. It just feels to me like
when you play the game, right? Like by the time you spawn. But you don't want to play no more. By the time you get to your objective, you don't want to play no more. That movement, bruh.
Yo, bro, you should see me on Twitter. Twitter, I gave them a whole log. This is how you can fix your game. Still nothing to fix with that game as far as what I would like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just improve the movement speed. That'll help a lot.
So look here. Yeah. I agree 100% that Sony's coming from a position of strength, and they have the mind. That they have sustained excellence for decades, so it's not knocking Sony.
For sure.
But for every example of a trash game that you bring up on Xbox, I can bring up an example on the PlayStation, and it won't have anything to do with PS Now, but on Xbox, you'll say it has to do with Game Pass. And it goes to what P. Rock was saying, it's the perception. It doesn't have to be true. Just that's what people want to believe, then that's what they're going to push. Because I played Predator Hunting Grounds, and that junk was trash. But nobody said it's trash because of PS Now. It's just a bad game.
Bro, a lot of people hate that fucking game.
Yeah, it's trash.
But nobody on PS Now. At the end of the day, you won't say PS Now because it's not even on the service. Right. With the games that's coming out for Xbox.
PS Now is a plus.
Yeah.
Microsoft is
a bad game is a bad game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You have gone into games aren't bad because developers make bad games. Games are bad because of Game Pass. And if Game Pass get rid of Game Pass, we won't have these bad games.
I'm saying that I feel like this is how I feel is that I feel like with Game Pass, they think they have that cushion where it's you don't have to put your best foot forward right now. You can just patch it up later because you're going to have all these subs that want to play your game and, continue to sub, and we can benefit from that, and we can fix the game later on through game rather than having that game completely, a complete game.
What happened to Predator Hunting Ground?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Predator Hunting Ground is I never played the game, to be honest with you. I only played the beta. I thought it was okay at best.
Okay.
But Microsoft is pushing Game Pass on these games. It's coming out day one on these games. And when I'm playing them, I just feel like they're incomplete games where I feel like
I understand that.
The best foot forward is not being put there.
Right, and that's what Porter Rock was saying. It doesn't matter if that's actually true or not. Just
it's a perception.
That's what people think
it's a perception. Undead Magus, he said, Avowed may be 6 hours in linear. I hope not. I don't know where.
What game is it?
Avowed.
Avowed.
I hope not. I don't know where he got that from, but I hope not. I hope that's not true.
When has Obsidian ever done anything that was linear or 6 hours?
That's true. So I
That's
hope
not gonna be no 6 hours.
JD Gamer, wait a minute. I never said PS Now was dog, Sherp. I said Game Pass was better. There's a huge difference. Don't do me like that. Okay, I apologize. Until I find a receipt, then I'm gonna get you. And you know I find receipts. I always find receipts. Garuda Legend. Game Pass is for fake retro gaming without the nostalgia. How retro is old consoles and games you missed for at least 2 decades that you paid for?
Look at Battletoads, man.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I will say this one great thing about Game Pass and PS Now. Even I will say this: it is a great system to get a lot of niche or games that can't get the huge marketing to be out there and get the sales that they deserve. I admit that, you know, like titles. Yeah. So it's definitely, it doesn't have to be. I mean, if Microsoft could do what they want, Sony could do what they want. But at a minimum, it is definitely a great venue for these titles that normally don't get the budget for marketing, or they get overshadowed consistently by bigger titles, and they really don't have a chance out in the market to be on display because all these other games are out and they get first preference for advertising, or when you boot up your console, they're on the dashboard. And these smaller titles, they get a little tiny box on the bottom right corner saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know? So being day one on Game Pass or day one on PS Now, right? People could be like, oh, shit, let me check this out because you get to play it. And then the word of mouth, and then more people get attraction to it. And then those who don't have Game Pass or like to own their games, they have the opportunity to buy it. I could see those games being out there. Like Sony's China Hero Project, I could see those games being day one on PS Now. You know, Sony's trying to boost up Chinese development. They're trying to get Chinese developers out there and make a name for themselves. I could see that it won't be a bad idea for Sony to be like, hey, we're going to put this day one on PS Now, because we're not going to give them the big budget as we do with, you know, Ghost of Tsushima or God of War. It's just those games ain't going to get that level budget. But we still want people to know about these games. So we're going to use them as advertising tools to get PS Now. Like, hey, if you subscribe to PS Now, you'll get day one access to Lost Soul Aside. Here's a trailer. So the combination of PS Now and Lost Soul Aside, that would be a benefit, mutual benefit for both games. You understand what I'm saying? So I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. I could see definitely one aspect of these streaming services pushing these smaller titles that normally would not get any sunshine because of the big titles that constantly come out. King Prey.
That makes a lot of sense, bro. You know? Makes a lot of sense.
King Prey, I don't think a dev want to have crap their games. Yeah, I don't believe any dev wants to. Now, let me ask you this, Optimus. Because you gave a perfect example with the game that sold 10 million. And the business said, well, make it 20, right? Do you see that often that you have, as a developer, have you known or came across personally where the developers are ready to make a game or blockbuster game or whatever, but the suits are like, no, you need to make it more accessible. Therefore, some of the intricacies that you wanted to implement, you couldn't because it wasn't accessible to a larger audience?
Oh, absolutely. I've heard of that many, many times. Yeah. And because the idea is to make the game more appealing to more people. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that you make it less appealing is complicated or intricate controls and systems. So there was definitely a wave where games were just dumbed down just so they could be approachable by more people. Okay. And like you have people like From Software where they're like, we're not going to put an easy mode in because they're more from the old school of we want our games to be hard. That is the point of them. And we're not really making games for everyone. We're making games for these types of people only. And then they get a lot of flack for that because this notion that you need to put an easy mode in, you need to do this, you need to do that. All of that happened because publishers decided that the market was too niche and it needed to be broader. And for the most part, honestly, it has worked because gaming has grown exponentially since games became more accessible.
Yeah. Okay. So technically, it may not be the developer, but at the behest of the publisher, you have to dumb down your games to meet that certain metric of what the publisher ultimately wants. Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
Oh, that's.
But keep in mind, sometimes the publisher and the developer is the same people or the same organization. Like
they run their own destiny, like Bethesda.
Yeah, they did a lot of things in the Ocarina where Link sort of did stuff on his own without you having to do it yourself using the controller. So you would just run him and he would automatically jump from this thing to that thing. That type of stuff, like, it's become the norm now. But there was a time where, like, for me especially, it felt odd for me not to have Link do what I said when I said it, other than, like, he just does certain things in the environment as a convenience for me, the gamer.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So, Optimus, are you satisfied with the Game Pass conversation? Did you get more answers, or are you leaving with more questions? Or are you going to ultimately saying Jay Barry has an agenda?
Jay Barry definitely has an agenda, and he ain't giving it up. And yeah, y'all made a lot of sense. P-Rock, I agree with you 100%. It's all about perception. What you said was exactly right, even if it's not true.
So let me ask you this. Do you think... So I think it's safe to say, at a minimum, it's definitely a perception problem with Game Pass. Do you think it's really that perception is big, or do you think it's just a niche audience within the console war, or do you think there's a huge concern about this? How do you feel? How do you read everything you see?
I think it's the niche thing. It's a niche audience in the console war.
Okay.
But that's why I was trying to be clear here, and I think I sort of threw us off track a little bit. I think that the overall gaming community at large, their view of Game Pass is it's really positive. And then you got the video that woman made from used to be IGN. She's making it even more positive. And even though I disagree with her and what she said, she is still contributing to making Game Pass even more positive in the eyes of the community at large. So I definitely think it's a small group of people that are dissatisfied with Game Pass. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. But I don't think that if people have a problem with Game Pass, they shouldn't be able to admit it. I think, like anybody else, they should be able to voice those concerns and help make the product better. I think it is valid. If Jay Barry says, I've played these games on the service and I get this impression, I think that's a valid complaint. I don't think it's true, but I think he has to voice that. And I think that Microsoft should listen to him. And if they realize this is affecting the perception of our product, then let's see what we can do to help alleviate this. So I definitely don't think they should ignore it, but I definitely don't think it's anywhere near as bad as what Jay Barry is saying.
Okay. I think interesting is going to be once the consoles comes out, because at the end of the day, I think we all have opinions, but opinion doesn't mean anything unless you're going to put your money on it. That's what I say at the end of the day, right? If you're talking about a game is good, did you buy it? No, then your opinion doesn't mean nothing. Like, we all back up what we mean, right? So
yeah.
So once these consoles come out and we start seeing how the market responds through actual sales, through because people could talk all day about what they like, but are you gonna put the debit card down and actually, back it up? And I think that's gonna be the true tell. What game sells? How many more subscriptions does once Xbox Series X and potentially Lockhart comes out, how do they contribute to that? How many more people subscribe to Game Pass while on PC? The quality of games, how these games, I think once we start seeing the data, the hardcore data, because sales don't lie. We could talk trash all day about subjective opinion of what we think is better, but at the end of the day, what we want to buy is what we want to buy. And that ultimately says it. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. I just want to say, before departing shots, I want to say, Optimus, thank you so much for showing up. You are welcome here anytime onto the show. Do you have anything you want to say, Optimus?
No, man, it was a blast. I appreciate it, man. It was good, honest conversation about all platforms, and that's what I love, man. Absolutely.
Definitely. Okay.
For sure.
All day. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, for sure, man. My bad, I had to step out. My daughter.
Hey, family comes first, brother. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Your daughter's our daughter. You handle your business. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what you gotta do. But I love your input. Thank you so much. And of course, Jay Barry, he speaks from the heart, Optimus. My man Jay Barry, everything he says is the lisp with the lisp. It comes from the heart. Everything he says. My man tells no lie. Everything he says, he truly says it with his soul. All right?
Hey, listen, man, down the line, you're gonna be like, "Yo, Jay Barry with the best list on YouTube." He said this.
He said this years ago.
It normally happens, not to be cocky or anything, but it's gonna happen. Nah, man. According to everybody, I'm a corporate slave, so I'm gonna be breaking down corporate slave tomorrow and speak from the heart.
Nice.
So,
hey, what time you going live, bro?
Like 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, for sure.
2 p.m. around my time. All right, I'll tune in definitely.
Hey, y'all go check him out. Go sub him up.
Yeah,
man.
go sub up to his new podcast, and we all good right here. So,
hey, Optimus, man, when you getting your YouTube started, man?
Look here, man. I ain't on that.
I know, man. You got a tinfoil hat in
listen,
your drawer.
you see these fake tech guys making big. We need a real guy. Like, can we get a real tech guy doing stuff?
This when you go to his site, bro, it's an IP scrambler. You got to install a code. They're like, man, you got to do. He got his own launcher, man. He got his own launcher, man.
Man, I just made my own little joint. Ain't nobody flag none of my shit.
You know what you can do, man? Just do it on Twitter, man. Just straight to Twitter. Boom.
No, they can take it down too. They they banned me for 12 hours.
Oh man,
an idiot. Really? I'm like, what type of?
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Hey, this country's full of bitch ass niggas, man. I tell you that.
The facts. Yo, I'm sorry, man. You know how people are praying one day we'll have world peace. We're gonna have it. I firmly believe, at least in 50 years to 100, we're gonna have world peace because we're gonna have way too many pussies to want to fight. They're gonna be like, "You want me to do what?
Yeah.
Hell no." We'll go on the internet and fight. That's about it. I'll talk shit behind the keyboard.
Right.
Real talk, I feel like in a few years down the line, we're gonna be like in Demolition Man.
Man. All the alphas are gonna be gone in this world. There ain't gonna be nobody.
So we gonna be the sewers, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna be the last. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for rocking out. If you're new to the channel, that's it. Still arguing over Game Pass. It still sucks, Optimus. It's like PlayStation 7.
DWO, baby.
Oh shit. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. This is your boy Puerto Rock 77, your only friend in these YouTube streets. I hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. 08:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we are out of here. Peace.
Peace, chat. Have a good one.
All right, y'all. I'm about to holler at y'all.
Yeah, me too, man.
It was good.